Welcome to the Social Sound Check. Raise your voice and reconnect from every stream. Sounds ignite. We test, we break, we build it right. Tuesday lights up every feed. Voices meet where ideals lead, from Substack streams to global comms. Creation echoes through the halls. We test, we tweak, we mix, we mend, and every tone becomes a friend. Welcome to the Social Sound Check. Raise your voice and reconnect from every stream. Sounds ignite. We test, we break, we build it right. Across the wires, across the seas, new gear hums and ideas speak free. AI sparks and analog dreams, colliding beats and feedback streams. No cameras roll, just waves and will, where sound is art and learning thrills. We tune imagination wide, from whispered thought to amplified. Together let the moments grow, integration and audio flow. Welcome to the Social Sound Check. Raise your voice and reconnect from every stream. Our sounds ignite. We test, we break, we build it right. Welcome to the Social Sound Check. Raise your voice and reconnect from every stream. Our sounds ignite. We test, we break, we build it right.
Hello. Keith Keller, Melbourne, Australia. This is the Social Audio Sound Check. And today, the plan is to check about 4 different microphones. It's very, very exciting. We're going to start with the Mayono. It's a dynamic mic. They're about $100. I was just amazed to hear how good this was. We're going to talk about all the settings. Jessica's bought her headphones and she can hear the difference. If we can try, we might get the Audio Technica AT205 working. We're having a bit of trouble with that one. I think it might be the cable, but we're going to test that live on the show. There's a new one I just heard about this week. We might test today, the Toner TM30 or TM310, a little mic that sits on your desktop or your laptop. I think that's pretty cool. Steph had one of those. If she can come, she can test that. And we're going to talk a lot about polar patterns and what all this means and why this is very, 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 very important. And I think it's important, is that most of my mates who run podcasts say, look, I don't mind interviewing guests, but they just will not sound good. I can hear the dog barking. Someone's got the TV on. There's kids screaming in the street. It doesn't make for a good show. Right. And so my mates are all screaming at me saying, can't you help them sound better, Keith? Can't you help them sound better? And Jessica, you start. You hadn't really thought of this before we started here, but it's made an enormous difference, hasn't it?
It really has. And no, I hadn't thought about it at all. What happened was, I just started writing on Substack because that's where I was getting used to writing publicly. And I hadn't thought about even doing anything like this. And Keith, I just remember the first time you asked me to come on, I didn't even know what I was agreeing to, really. And so I was like, sure. So I go on, and that's when we started talking about microphones. And I had never thought about it before that time. And you started sending me information about different microphones. And I realized that I work from home. I am online every day in meetings. I am also a student. I've gone back to school to get my PhD. And I've been having to make videos for assignments, and I hadn't thought about the audio piece of it at all. I thought a little bit about the video part just because you want a clear camera, but I hadn't thought about the audio at all. And I feel like I've been on such a journey since April.
I think it's important because, as I said, we now live. I think we talked about this on the show last week. Because content is so easy to make,
Mhm.
most of it is rubbish.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very, very critical. Like, most content is rubbish because it's easy. Hey, guess what? I go to the shops. I'm walking the dog in one hand. I'm having an ice cream in the other hand. And guess what? Have a look at my flip flops. I've got these really funky flip flops. And if you want, if you click this button, you can buy them too. They're $7.99 today at Kmart. And I'm thinking, this is not the content I want. I don't want that content. I want quality content. I want to be able to read quality material. I want to be able to listen to quality sound. I want to be able to see quality video. And most people don't think about it.
Mhm.
And that's okay. I might not be their target market. Right? Maybe people like looking at funky flip-flops and buying cheap stuff at Kmart. I don't know. That's not what I do in my personal life. I want quality material. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've just noticed that content has become like really downgraded. There's so much content out there and so much of it is rubbish.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me that maybe I could be an evangelist for quality content. I mean, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to stand up. And I'm very proud, Jessica. I got this one today.
It's so amazing, Keith. Congratulations.
Hey,
really, congratulations.
I'm going to give myself a round of applause. I want to just give a shout out to another Aussie, Dr. Justine Gatt, who I think is in Brisbane. I can't remember. And I'd love to have you on the show if you want to come on, Justine. She talks about well-being and resilience. I'd love to know if you've got a podcast and you'd want to talk to us about it. Christina is on the call, and I've had to mute her because her mic's not working, and there's a lot of background noise, a lot of dogs barking. But Christina, tell us what you're doing. You've got an AT205, but we can't get it working.
Yeah, we can't get it working. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yeah, but you're definitely not on your mic. It's not working. And why this is actually very important, Christine. This is extremely important. We now have a test case for what most people sound like. And
I love it.
Now our job is to make you sound better. Now
I need to invest in some audio equipment.
Yeah. So what it sounds like. I mean, do you have headphones on?
I have a gamer headset on with a mic.
Yeah. So what that sounds like to me, in my very fussy audiophile brain, is that it sounds hollow. It sounds like you're talking in a tunnel. Right. Now that is okay if you're talking to your friends.
Right, but if you're trying to make a impression, an impact in people's lives, you want their attention.
Yeah.
You don't want them going, oh my gosh, I can't even hear her.
Am I exaggerating this point, Jessica, or do you think we've got something really quite viable here in a world where everyone just talks in the tunnel?
I think it's really important. And I hadn't noticed how much more calming a microphone can make your voice sound, because it reduces that tinniness that a lot of the laptop microphones have. And that was something that, yeah, if you're just sitting in a meeting, you don't even really think much about it. But if you're listening for a long period of time, which actually, Keith, I just thought about this. This goes back to our very first conversation when I was talking about how there's some audiobooks that you start it, and because of the voice or because of the audio quality, you don't even finish it because it's just annoying to listen to.
Yeah. I remember that conversation with
you,
and you didn't know why, but you knew there was something that bugged you.
Yeah.
And you could put your finger on it, but you knew there was something. So let me be very clear about what's happening here. Jessica has what's called a dynamic mic. Now, this is a very good case study into this. Christina doesn't, and I can hear her shuffling around and moving furniture and a dog barking and kids in the street. And please, Jessica, this is not a personal attack on you. I just want to give this as an example. So, Jessica, I want you to do the proximity test for me. I want you to talk into the top of the microphone, just normal volume. Just say a few words, read a poem or something, and then move your hand to arm's length, same mic, same volume, and just let's hear the difference. That's what we call the proximity test.
Okay. So, hello. I'm right next to the microphone here. Hello. I'm walked away from the microphone.
Arm's length, right?
Yeah.
That way.
But I also I don't, let me try something else too, because this one has 3 different settings for the distance, and I have it on the far setting right now.
Okay. Let's play this.
So
out.
let me turn it to this is the near setting, where it wants me to be 5 to 10 centimeters from the microphone. So if I do the proximity test at this one, now I bet is there more of a difference?
Big difference. Huge difference.
So that shows you, because I put it on the far because honestly, I'm so like antsy all the time. I can't sit still. There's no way I'm going to sit with my mouth that close to the microphone the entire time.
Yeah. Once you know what you can do, you can then position it. And look, this is a good looking mic. You could have this in the shot if you did a video interview. This is quite sexy. You could put this in the shot. So that's fine. And you've even got the ability, if you want to upgrade to a USB, an XLR mixer,
right,
later down the track.
And it comes with all of the cords for that too. It comes with all of the cords for that. It's
unbelievable. And like, this wasn't available when I was buying mics. I've got a Mayono mic. This is good. I'm going to let this play out. Christina, when you shuffle around, you make noise. I really want to play this out. You pick up your laptop, you move around, you shuffle around papers, and it comes out on the tape. What you could do, and Steph can't come today, but what you could do, and I'm definitely going to test this on another day, is you could get something like this, Christina. It hangs over the the laptop. I'm going to have to mute you. I'm going to have to mute you, Christina. You're making too much noise. So what we could do is we could actually put this one on the microphone, on the laptop, and it actually comes with a voice isolation feature. Now, this would be a very good idea for someone who's very reluctant to upgrade, because there's a cost involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think, Americo? Pretty interesting discussions today. This Mayono mic is bloody good, isn't it?
The Mayono mic is really good for, dollar for dollar, an amazing deal. The one that you just pointed out. Now, I'm comparing apples to oranges, but the Logitech webcam that I have has a built-in mic, but it doesn't. It didn't pick up my voice that well. You, in fact, were quick to point out when I was using it. It's like it sounded like I was in a tunnel.
It's very important, and why this is very important. Like I want to share this little stat, Americo. I'm very proud. Like this is probably the highlight of my year. I don't get out much. I got into the top 10 on Substack today. Someone's got to go first. Someone's got to work this out. And I've worked out my job. My job in the world is to make people sound good. That's it. That's what I do. Not interested in writing articles. I'm not interested in being famous. I just want to help people sound better. Right? And someone up there is said, look, he's pretty good at this. Let's chuck him into the top 10 or the top 100. The top 100 technology dudes on Substack. There's 50 million of them. That's pretty good. So I reckon this stuff's very important. And Christina, have another go. I really, really, really want to help you sound better, because you will get those. You've written a book. You're going to go on people's shows. And when you do, I want you to sound good. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do I sound better now?
Do I have to answer that?
Not really. I'm sorry, but it still
Okay,
sounds
well,
very
I'm back.
funny.
I'm back on the mic. I actually plugged my earphones into the mic.
Yeah, I actually think it's the cable. I think
Okay.
I think the cable's not working. Now let
Okay.
me pick up on what this is, and I'd love to hear from the audience if you're listening. Can you tell the difference? To me, Chris. Well, first of all, I can hear the television. Second of
The
all,
television's not on.
well, is someone else? Was someone?
My flatmate just came home.
Really,
Yeah.
I put on very good.
Can you see the point, Christina?
I can't hear it myself because I'm living in the moment. But I can totally, yes. I mean, people have a lot of options on what they can listen to. And if you want them to listen to you, you have to be on top of your game.
Yeah, and that's our goal. So my gut feeling, this is a very good microphone, but so the television's not on, but your flatmate is talking, right, on her phone to someone else. Is that what's
She just walked up the stairs into her bedroom.
Yeah. No, if you want to do these interviews, you got to find a quiet place. I mean, lock yourself in the toilet, maybe. I mean, you've got to
No, because it's walled to her bedroom, so that wouldn't work either.
Yeah. Is she in her bedroom now? Because we can still hear her.
Yes.
America,
Yes,
pick up.
The last time when we did this, I was actually downstairs in a room off the living room, had French doors, and I told her that I had this event that I was part of, and she came home and turned the television on. I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it's a challenge of living with someone.
No, don't be embarrassed. Why I'm very interested in this show is that I am this neutral force. Like, there will be times if you go on a very important show, they won't have you if you've got the TV on. They'll just tell you to go.
Oh, I totally get that. I mean, I wouldn't stay to hear it if I have all that extra noise, in affecting your attention to the one speaking, and then everything else that goes along with that. No, I would totally say, see ya. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot, but I'm gonna have my own place pretty soon. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, let's pick up on this. We've got what I love about this. I'll just run you through what this show's about. So this show is called the Social Audio Soundcheck, and the reason I do this show is because I do a very important show, relatively important to me, once a week on a Wednesday, Tuesday in the US. And tomorrow's show is all about how to use Substack Studio. It's a pretty cool feature. It's free to use. And I want people to call in and for people to be able to hear them. So I want the guests to sound good. I don't want any distractions. And I want the sound of the show to be high quality. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. So what I do on a Tuesday, Monday in the US, is I do these shows called the Social Audio Soundcheck. You can watch them on YouTube. We have lots and lots of cool guests coming all the time. You can also watch them on Substack, and there are quite a few people listening on Substack, and I thank you for that. I'll get to you in a minute. I'll call you out. I can see who's there. And we just have a global audience. You can also, and I'm not sure this is working today, but I actually can also send the file to YouTube, to LinkedIn. So we have got a massive reach, right? And it's not going to be very cool for the audience if you don't sound good. Right. So
Right.
that's why I'm picking up on this. So if you've got any questions, put them in the comments. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about this dynamic, this idea that what most people say, and I'm going to use a very clear analogy. What most people say is, "Can you hear me?" That's what most people say. The answer is almost certainly yes. But what they never say is, "Do I sound any good?" And they never ask me that question. And I want to start with an analogy like a restaurant. When you don't walk into a restaurant and the chef comes up to you and say, "Can you taste that?" Of course I can taste it. I got a mouth. The question they're really asking is, does it taste good? Did you like it? Would you come back? Can you give us a review on Google or TripAdvisor? I want you to tell me the next time someone asks you, "Can you taste that?" It's never happened, ever, in the history of the world. Right? Except if you've got taste issues and your wife's helping you out because you've lost your taste because you've had a fall or something. So think of that when you say, "Can you hear me?" Well, we almost certainly can, most of the time. That's not the problem. The problem is, how do you sound? And this graph helps us determine where the holes in the sound are. Do you use this graph too, Americo? Do you refer to this with you? Because Americo's got a very cool school group, SKOOL. And people in your community too need to know this, don't they?
Well, it's funny you say that because just today I went live. I had an event where people were excited to come up and be part of a live stream, and no one showed up. I started getting comments. It's like I'm giving my anxiety. I can't do it. And it dawned on me that there's many community members who are at a place in their particular journey where tech is still beyond reach. They're still working on confidence and building that confidence to lean into the mic, regardless of what the mic is. If it's a mobile phone, if it's a laptop, if it's a condenser mic, there is a tremendous amount of people. And I didn't realize how big the audience is when it comes to that confidence piece. They all nod. I want to do it. It's like, all right, let's do it. This is a safe place for you to practice, get your reps in, practice. You're doing it on my domain. No one has to see this. If you don't tell anyone, it's just you and me and whoever else from the community shows up. And crossing that threshold still becomes a cumbersome task.
Let's pick up on that. What do you think? This is actually fundamentally why I do this, why I am the audio only dude. This is the number one reason, what you just said, the number one reason. Let's take away video. Let's just take that out of the picture altogether. You can add that later, right? You can, you don't do your L plates in a Ferrari. You can buy one later if you want. You can add video later if you want. Let's get your sound right, your confidence right. You just use the thumbnail, especially if you're not recording it or if it's not going out in the open. And then once you get your confidence up, you can push record, you can push live. This is the fundamental reason why I do this show. Like the absolute reason. Because I want to be the champion of all those people thinking, "Oh, I'm a bit nervous." Right, well, so do you think it's the video piece, or do you think it's just nerves in general?
Well, I called it out today in my latest Substack article. Confidence first, technology second was the tone of the message, and I went live off camera and reached out to those who had promised or agreed or had some level of commitment to come here. Listen to this replay. You'll notice that I'm not on camera. I dedicated this event specifically for you to let you know that there are alternatives to showing up on camera. Because today, And this is where I kind of take objection. I know we talk heavily about AI and how to use it as a tool. I'm seeing more and more people talking about and creating those cinematic AI generated videos. You're still hiding behind the digital technology while people are still craving more than ever that human interaction, that real time conversation, that no cinematic AI generated video is going to help you break through.
Yeah, it's a good point. One of the things you and I talk about a lot, especially in a world of AI slop, I just write a song. I think that we talk about a lot, especially because of AI slop. I can feel a song coming on. Is that live streaming is you, real, now, here, right? You can't fake it. People love it. Like they just love it. They go, that's Keith. That's that funny guy that speaks from, where is he? Again, Melbourne, Australia. Where is that? He's on the other side. He sounds so funny. I mean, he speaks, uses funny words and he sings these funny songs. You know, that's me. I'm real. I could make a video. I'm pretty sure I could work it out. I could make this really nice 2-minute video with me singing a song, sound like Keith Urban, and everything's perfect, but it's not me. And I think what you and I both share is this love of live, this love of real. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Do you want to pick up on this, Jess and Christina? What's your take on that, Jessica?
I think where my Substack picks up on these ideas, because you guys are about that. How do you have the actual conversations? And then I am always talking about, where has community gone? Because I grew up in a very small, that's why my Substack is called Small Town Big Ideas. I grew up on an island that you have to use a ferry to get to. My graduating class was 76 people. Community just was, like it just was, because you knew everybody. And sometimes having I have 2 boys now who are both Gen Z, and there is community in the digital age. Absolutely there is, but it does look different than it did when we were younger. And so, how do we build off of it in a changing time? And that's where I think you and Americo fit in.
Yeah, it is 2026. It's not 1986.
Right, exactly.
And the tools are here to use. Oh, okay. You may have to learn to suck that one up, Mike. AI slop is a phrase, and it's real and it's true. There is AI slop around. There is definitely AI slop around. So fair enough. It's a phrase that a lot of people don't like, but it's the truth. And we live in a world where we can use all this technology, but the real power is in the real voice, in the real. Yeah, isn't it?
Can I pick up on the Substack slop, or not the oh my goodness, no, the AI slop? I think a piece of it is because sometimes it gets to be where people think if you've used AI at all, it's AI slop. And that's just not true, because AI is a tool. And if you're doing human in, human out, where you're really actually, this is your experience, these are your ideas, you're getting to a place where you're like, I can't get this piece to sound right. The flow's not right. And you're using it almost as an editor. And that's, I read something today about, where's the phrase in between where you're using it as an actual tool, as opposed to just labeling everything AI slop.
I think actually that's the real power of this phrase. And let's pick up on this. Some people think everything that's AI is rubbish, right? And some people are so purist that they won't use it at all. Right? And what I do just to let you know, I do these shows twice a week because I love them. I love doing them, and I'm always going to do them. But some people can't come. Some people can't come to the show. So what I do is I take the transcript, which I guess could be considered AI because someone's had to write it. In the past, back in the day, I paid $1 a minute to get my interviews transcribed. True story, $1 a minute.
Yeah.
I've got about 278 interviews on SoundCloud. I nearly needed a second mortgage to pay for that. So I'm exaggerating, but $1 a minute, $60 for every hour I spoke. I'm always speaking. I'm just constantly spending money. So AI, let's say, can do a transcript. All it's doing is it's copying your words and putting them on a piece of paper or a document. That's AI. That's not rubbish. That's you speaking. What I then do is I feed it into Copilot, which then gives me the highlights of what was talked about. Well, the 5th minute mark, Jessica demonstrated a mic. At the 10th minute mark, we had a bit of a discussion about AI slop. At the 15-minute mark, Keith talked about how he got in the top 100. How cool is he? So, and then it just gives you a list of 16 things. What I then do, and this is a very good example, what I then do is I send that transcript and the highlights to everyone that came on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do whatever they want with it. I write an article, they write an article. I can feel another song coming on. They write an article, I write an article, let's get the whole thing off. Americo then does some images, and suddenly one article, one live show which lived in the real world, on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock, everyone that can't come to the show can access that in variations of that theme. Mike did a really good article last week about Substack TV, which we will talk about in a minute because this format is 720p, probably doesn't look that good. You can take Restream up to 1080, but even that won't probably look that good on the TV. And the world is changing. Like I'm in Melbourne, Australia. There's no Aussies on this call. No, we've got Canadians and Americans in the comments and online and live. So we're sharing our information live. But I got to be honest, I do not have time to edit all of the conversations we've had in this 20-minute, 30-minute, 2-hour conversation and make meaningful content out of it. I just don't have time. So the choices are nothing or AI. I choose AI. I could choose nothing. I could just stop and go to the beach, have an ice cream, walk a dog, watch the dolphins. But then this show doesn't go anywhere. And that seems a shame. And I think that's what you're saying, isn't it, Jessica, that just because we use AI doesn't mean it's slop.
Yeah.
It's just what Mike is saying here is AI assisted. We take the transcript,
Absolutely.
We turn it into a blog post. Americo does a graphic. Mike writes another blog post. You write something else. Jessica sends it to her friends. And we all have these networks, these tentacles that go out into the world. And I think it's amazing. What's
And
your
you can see just real quick, you can see between, like, you and I have both wrote an article about one of the conversations we had that you downloaded the transcript, you put it in, it pulled out, some of the top highlights. I think there might have been 14. And we've both written articles about it. I think I've written 2 and you've written 1, and they're very different out of the same AI transcript. And so that's where, they're absolutely that. I don't see that. I see it as using it as a tool, it's not doing the creating for us.
Yeah. And we set that challenge for ourselves, didn't we?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We had a conversation and we said to her, and we'll do this today as well. I'm going to send you the transcript. I'm going to send you the highlights. I'm going to write an article. You write one too. They were poles apart. They could have been done on different days.
I know.
But they came out of the same conversation. You heard different things. You took different things from it. Different things make sense to you.
Mm-hmm.
Christina, what's your take on AI? I know you've written a book with other writers and you love writing. Is it confronting to use AI now?
I think AI is an amazing resource, and it allows so much more to be expressed, whether it's visual, audio, the written word, and it's different for each person. I mean, for me, my passion is to be authentic. And so even with AI, I can do that. That's not exclusive from AI because certain resources of AI has opportunities to pick up on your different quirks and your personality, and it's an amazing tool. One side note, I have to thank you for the cappuccino on the table. It looks amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, I reckon I'm going to play a little sound. We have a winner. I think you've got your mic working. I think it actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I think
You know what I did? I plugged the mic into the microphone.
Sorry.
I plugged the mic into the microphone. The other time I had my headphones plugged into the computer. I plugged them into the mic, and that's made a difference, huh?
Yeah.
I sound better?
Yeah.
Mhm. I do. I hear a difference.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
this is very, very cool. Let's play this out.
Yeah.
Can you do the proximity test for me? Can you talk directly into the microphone at the start? Like touch the mic with your mouth so that when you're talking, you can feel the mic against your mouth. Right?
I am talking into the mic.
There it is. It worked. It worked. And then arm's length away.
Yeah.
I'm talking into
Oh, we got it. Mariko, do you hear that? We got it live on air.
This is golden. I love it.
This is why we do this show. So
And breaking news, we did it.
and live on KKFM, the AT205 works. So this is why I do the show. This is what happened there.
Woohoo! Gosh, I was so afraid I didn't have a cord. I'm like, dang it. Where'd that cord go?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So
Yay.
we've now got the Mayono dynamic mic working. It comes with software, and we now got the the Audio Technica 205 working. They were about the same price, so that's very, very cool to demonstrate that. If you are listening on Substack or LinkedIn, ask your questions. I've got quite a few questions in LinkedIn on Substack. Unfortunately, this format doesn't allow Substack to talk to Restream, so I have to read these out manually. Tech is beyond reach. They're still working on confidence. It's a brilliant and critical point. That's a great. Let's pick up on that, America. The tech is what is holding a lot of people back. Do you think that's what it is? People know what they want to say. They just don't know what tech to use to get the word out, do they?
I would say that is false. Purely based on the conversations that I'm having. People are coming to me before tech is even a question. They're coming to me with different questions that are not tech related.
What is the sticky point?
So the sticky point is I'm not ready.
Okay.
I don't like being on camera. So there's a cure for that. I don't know what I'm going to say. And what if nobody shows up? So these are all variables of us getting inside our own heads, because none of it has anything to do with tech, and nothing has anything to do with our lack of our knowledge and subject and content matter to discuss. These are well-educated people who know the lane that they're in, can speak confidently, but you put a mic in front of them or a camera, and that's it. They're done.
Do you want to pick up on this, Jessica? Or do you see this happen yourself? Really well-educated people know their stuff, PhDs and everything, but they just can't speak.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Um, I mean, that's in my program. We have people who are just like, "Oh, I'm not, oh, I hate presenting. I hate getting in front of people." Obviously, they know what they're talking about. They're in the program. Um, yeah, imposter syndrome. That's exactly it. And I think another piece that I would love for you to pick up on, Keith, in America, I'm positive you have some feedback on this too. That piece around nobody will show up, because that is something that I had thought about. Like, why would I ever do a live event, which we are Carol Ann and I are going to do one this week. But I was like, why would I ever do that? Nobody's going to show up. But it's not necessarily about who shows up. Because Keith, I know you have several stories about this, about the impact some of your shows have had weeks after even.
Yeah, well, let's pick up on that very specific story. I went into the city. There's a very good reason not to go into the city, because it's a bloody long way away, and 9 people came. That pissed me off, and that's sort of what people are saying. Why would I do a show if no one comes? Yeah, well, they don't know you yet. They don't know who you are yet. In a way, when you're getting started, it's good that no one comes, because you can just practice. Hey, here's me. I'm just talking to myself. No worries. I coined a phrase, talking to the rooster, because sometimes I just talk to myself. I'm thinking, what am I doing this for? I could be going to the beach and watching dolphins play, or, whales on a different time of the year.
Mhm.
Why don't I just do that? But people do come, and they are interested. And there's 8 billion people in the world, and 50 million of them are on Substack. And they don't know what you know. And some of them want to know the skills and knowledge you have. So you start when you don't have anyone online. This is actually a bit of a blessing, because you can muck around. What does this button do? Oops! Oh, wow! Not doing that again. So you push stuff, you start stuff, and you try things, and then when people actually come, you go, "Wow! I got an audience now. I better get my act together."
I agree 100%, because when I started, I kind of got all of these all these posts about how to grow your audience, how to get 5,000 followers in your first 30 days. And I was like, oh, Lord, I don't want that. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I want to practice a little bit first. So I'm all about that nice, slow, steady. I'm cool. And I've had a nice, slow, steady growth. But yeah, being able to kind of ease your way into it, and not and so yeah, do a live and nobody shows up. So what? Nobody's gonna care if you mess up then either.
The other thing too is that if no one shows up, no one actually knows.
Right.
Right.
Well,
That's a
not
beautiful
necessarily.
thing.
But unless you write articles, I mean, there's things you can do with it afterwards.
Oh, are you guys reading today's article? Because we're touching on everything that's being spoken of here. Most people, and I don't have a percentage or a number, but I'm sure if I dug in, I could quantify this with a number. But there are people who confuse the attendance and the attendees and the engagement
100%.
with impact. Oh my God, no one showed up, so this is therefore has no impact.
Yep.
I stand behind the impact commencing after the live event is over. Those who showed up live, they get the opportunity to ask questions in real time. They get the opportunity to engage in and immerse themselves in the conversation that no one else will have the opportunity when they're listening to the replay or reading your article and your long and short form content that you've created. Those who show up get that as a treat, as a bonus. And don't underestimate the impact when no one shows up, because to your point, the content is evergreen. What you do with it is endless. And if you choose to turn your back, it's like, oh, well, that was a dud. No one showed up, and this will go into the archives, and you do nothing with it. And you start racing. Okay, what am I going to talk about next? You're leaving all this juicy content and information that
Mm.
is valuable to someone, you're just leaving it on in a file in your C drive or in the cloud somewhere, never to be seen again.
You know, this is such a great question, such a great comment, because there's been many times that I've said, I wish I was me. I wish I had met me when I was starting. Right? I wish I had met someone like me. In fact, this is why I'm so inspired to help, because when I first started, I was bashing my head against the wall on my own with no one to ask. Now we've got 50 million people on Substack willing to help. And so I want to pick up on this repurposing piece. The way I do it, and I'm very excited about this format, is I do the show live, and the show is free if you turn up when you come. Then I do an article. I'm not that fussed about the replays, but I do put the replays on YouTube for the subscribers who want to listen to them. But they're long; they go a long time. But let's have a talk about repurposing. You do this really well, America. You take some basic image, you create magic, you create words that go with that magic. So there's an image, there's an article, there's a live stream, there's a video. Tell me your process, then I'm going to run through the rest of the team and also ask other people how they repurpose, because it is the magic, right? Repurposing is the magic.
So I begin with that live stream experience. There's this omni-channel experience where people can show up 3 different locations, destinations, and be part of the conversation live. And it's no secret, it's Substack, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I then take the conversation and summarize it, and I'll use a storytelling tone, persona, where I immerse myself in the conversation and tell the story of what transpired, what happened, and what my takeaways were from the conversation and the guests who appeared. I've now added a layer to optimize it for AEO and include a Q&A from the Q&As, that the questions that arose from the conversation. That takes care of the long form content. It will always find its way to Substack. It will have a call to action to visit the replay if they want to hear the entire conversation over on YouTube. I used to keep the replay on Substack, but I felt it didn't have a place. Once I was live, I gotta cater and dedicate my efforts to the reader. Those who want to listen can go to YouTube.
Oh wow! Pete, let's stop you there. That's a very interesting insight. We know for sure that most people still assume, rightly or wrongly, that Substack is a writer's platform. It's no longer just a writer's platform, but most people associate Substack with the written word. So you are right. You are right to do that. That's an extremely wise decision. So you don't really focus on videos on Substack because people want to read articles. You're focusing on them there, yeah?
Absolutely. And the replay is available on YouTube. Replay is available on LinkedIn. I'm kind of sitting on the fence on pulling the plug on the replays on LinkedIn and pushing everything to YouTube, but I still got to clean up my YouTube channel and optimize it first. But I'm going to pause here for a second. I have a community, well, he's not a community member, but he's a colleague over on School who's asking for the link. So I'm going to share the studio link. You opposed to that?
No, that's no worries. What's his name? What's her name?
So his name is John Missikos.
Okay. When he comes, I'll let him in.
He is, I don't know if he's Melburnian, but he is an Aussie. So
the
minute you said you had no Aussies, I went looking for an Aussie for you.
Wow. Wow. Well, he might even be Greek, so he might have even gone to the Delforth Festival. Didn't you say there was a big festival in Toronto, in Delforth?
Yeah, Danforth. We had the Greek Food Festival.
Yeah.
Taste of the Danforth.
Yeah. So I'm just guessing. I'm probably, I might even be a bit offensive there by associating a surname with a nationality, but we have a very, very, very multicultural vibe going on here. So I'll let him in. We'll just see if we can get his. What does he do? Give us the skinny on what he's up to and what he might want to know about. He's not a sex therapist, is he?
That's what I was just thinking. Oh my goodness.
No, he's a computer programmer. He has a school community of his own, and he helps people optimize their communities. So he asked, "What are we talking about?" And what's the topic here? What should we tell him the topic is?
Well, what I might do, I might play a song while you're doing this. One of the things that's very cool about this show is it does freeform around. And Americo has a really, really cool show coming up, and I've been looking for a way to promote it. So I'm going to play a song. And for me, this discussion about AI is very relevant because I'm pretty stupid. Like I feel stupid when at the moment.
You are not, Keith. You are not.
I just feel so
You're
stupid.
not.
All of these acronyms.
Keith, you're number 96. You're number 96 on here.
Let me
No,
just.
he makes me laugh because I have in the past I've related. I'm like, okay, what you just wrote here was a absolute like it was a in clear as day language, everyday language, describing a very, very academic topic.
You know, I'm going to start a new URL. Teach me like I'm 12.
I mean, I really do think if you can't explain something simply, you don't really understand it.
Hey, if there were a scale and that scale went from 0 to 50 million, you're 97. I'm pretty sure you're on the right side of the scale.
I
So
think so. I think
don't
so.
sell yourself short.
Totally. We are all Keith supporters here. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yes.
we interrupted you. Stop saying you're stupid.
So what I'm doing there, John, if you can turn your mic off, sort of turn your camera off and put your thumbnail on, I'd really appreciate that. That's good. So we got you as JM. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play a song. We're going to come back with this idea of and I'm going to go and buy this URL. Teach me like I'm 12. I'm in year 7. I've just finished primary school. I don't want any big words. I don't want any acronyms. I just want you to tell me something I can do, right? So I've written a song about that, practical AI. And I'm going to do the Wicked version. Just imagine that Ariana Grande and the male co-star are singing on a broomstick on a fantasy island. Practical AI, the musical.
This is practical AI, simple and real, turning just an idea into something you feel. From stuck in your head to something you share. One small step and it's suddenly there. No code, no pressure, just dive right in. This is practical AI. So let's begin. You don't need a lab coat, don't need a degree. Just a curious mind and a cup of coffee. Open up a blank page, type a simple line. Help me write a story, now your co-designing time. It's not sci-fi, it's not far away. It's in your hands every single day. This is practical AI, simple and real, turning just an idea into something you feel. From stuck in your head to something you share. One small step and it's suddenly there. No code, no pressure, just dive right in. This is practical AI. So let's begin. Need a better headline, need to clean your notes, summarize a meeting, or draft that post. It won't be perfect, but it'll get you close. Like a quiet collaborator who never says no. You steer the wheel, it helps you drive, It's not alive, but it amplifies. This is practical AI, simple and real, turning just an idea into something you feel. From stuck in your head to something you share. One small step and it's suddenly there. No code, no pressure, just dive right in. This is practical AI. So let's begin. Ask better questions, get better replies. That's the secret no one really hides. Edit, refine, don't copy, paste blind. You're still the author, it's just your co-pilot mind. Start with one thing and keep it real simple. Write, test, tweak. That's the whole principle. This is practical AI, simple and real, turning just an idea into something you feel. From stuck in your head to something you share. One small step and it's suddenly there. No code, no pressure, just dive right in. This is practical AI. So let's begin.
Let's begin. So, Americo and our new member, jump in. Tell us what you're doing. Practical AI. What are you thinking?
Well, let me introduce John, who is a brilliant mind helping school community owners discover and uncover where their communities are leaking. And was multitasking, and he was looking to start a live event in his community. I jumped in when you and I were talking about No Aussie being on the call with us, so I reached out and extended the invite if no one shows up or if he's open to joining us. And here he is. And there's no other form of content where you can just reach into someone's engagement and someone's comments and say, hey, let's have a conversation right now. And we're doing it, and we're proving that live content works in a multitude of ways. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for the link, for the join. Appreciate it, and the kind words as well.
Tell us what you're doing there, mate. If I'm in Melbourne in Edithvale near Morty, I'd love to know where you are in the world and what's your take on all this.
I'm over in Brisbane.
Ah, yeah, Brisbane. That's pretty cool. What's your thing about? Are you doing a live show? Are you thinking of doing one, or what's your take on it?
No, so basically, I'm just I develop extensions for school, right, to help school owners to do more with what they do, mainly around the MRR. But basically, America just saw that I was doing a live at the moment, and it's like, hey, look, I'm over here with these other awesome people. You want to join too? And so, yeah. But like the only thing, as I'm coding, I was just taking Q&A live from people over in my school. And so now I'm actually inside two live things.
Well, tell us how you use school. This is a very good discussion for people that don't know much about it. I use Restream and Substack. And America has a school, and we have done several sessions there. But what do you use? You use school. How do you use school? What is school for those that don't know?
Okay, sure. So school is basically like a community platform, right? So if you've got something that you're interested in, keen on, and you want to do it with other people, like school's the place to be. The interesting thing about it is also that they don't, usually people say, don't talk about money and politics, but on school, like money is like not a banned thing. In fact, it's like very much promoted. So it's like you have a community, people join, they get value. If you want to charge, you can, and there's no shame in charging for stuff. So like the model was different to like, it came out of Facebook, and like the owner, Sam Ovens, used to run a Facebook group and have community there, but then found, you know, their motivation is ads and sort of like interrupting attention. And so school is like, then there's no ads. There's no interrupting your attention. You join a group and that's what you're part of. The money comes because you can pay to be part of groups. Right? So you're like,
Are you using Substack as well, or because it'd be very interesting to compare the two formats?
no, but one of the members of my group, that's what she does. She uses Substack for getting attention and then directs it into school. So school is really good for monetization.
Yeah, I love this. Pick up on this, America, because you love school as well, yeah?
I absolutely love school and the whole premise of community building. And John touched on something that I never really zeroed in on. It is, we talk about Substack being creator friendly. School is entrepreneurial friendly. You can talk about money. Yes, you can talk about monetizing your ideas, your value proposition, but you're surrounded, like you hear me say, surround yourself with live-minded people. School brings like-minded people into unique communities, and to John's point, there's zero interruption on ads, and you're there with people who are there intentionally. Some of us are having, I don't want to say better luck, but better return on their investment of time, effort. And hey, listen, I knew going in that this was going to be a steep climb for me. And today we started the conversation talking about some of the reasons why it's steep. I have a community of 151 members, all here with the right and the same intent, but at different stages of their journey. So it's trying to bring those people along at a comfortable pace, keep them from churning and saying, all right, I'm overwhelmed, I'm out of here. I've lost a few for that reason, and I'm pretty subtle, I'm pretty easy to get along with, and I can nurture and coach someone along. But there are people who just that whole mindset and that imposter mindset just consumes them to the point where they exit because it's just a toll on them.
You want to pick up on this, John? What's your take on live streaming as a platform to get the word out, whether it's a podcast or whether it's video on or video off? Or do you use it to, outside of school, get people into school? What do you do?
So I've never come across this format that you're doing at the moment. So it's really interesting. So it's like I'm only used to, live stream and there's a video, but this format is pretty cool because it's like, I don't know, something's different. You don't feel like you could just talk and it's like, not every movement is sort of like recorded, but generally I haven't used it enough. I know that it's the future. Alex Hormozi talks about people, but basically the short of that story is live streamers were the most popular people in this auditorium, like compared to people that did YouTube, above people that did YouTube videos, above even actors, on the silver screen, because people get to interact with you more, you're more live and more real. And I guess the joke is you're talking about AI, like in this world where, pretty much everything is going in the direction of fake or generated. Like this is one of the last spots where you're like interacting with people. Like that's the value. So like I can't comment on how it's boosted what I do because I don't do it as the main thing. but I know that the market direction is going in that way.
Yeah, well, the thing that's very interesting, I might also mention that LinkedIn didn't work today. So that is in itself very interesting. But what we do, I'm very excited about this. We send this file to Substack, YouTube, and LinkedIn simultaneously using Restream. Right. So I have 25,000 followers on LinkedIn. They normally, other than today, they get my comment. They get my content. That's 25,000 people that have the opportunity to hear what I'm talking about, if they're interested. Right? They've followed me, they've contacted me, they've connected with me, and that's 25,000 people that get to see something that I'm doing. Just a little bit of branding there. Substack has 50 million users. 500 of them follow me. So that's 500 people that get to see my stuff. This show is live on Substack, and there's quite a few people watching it. And that's another group of people that get to hear what I'm saying with my funny voice and my dynamic microphone. And then the replays and the live shows are on YouTube. So you can watch live on YouTube, but you can also watch the replay on YouTube. So I'm getting 3 bites of the cherry for one piece of content. And what I'd really like to talk about now is the repurposing. And that's where practical AI comes in. How do you repurpose your content, John? Do you do it? Is it drop and drag, and what do they call it now? Skip and run, or do you leverage? Do you leverage it and move it again and put it somewhere else, or do you just put it there and jump?
So my focus of late has been more on building applications. So that's where a lot of my attention's gone. But the streaming that I do on school, basically I've built like a pipeline. There's some AI in it, and it takes the transcript, finds the highlights. It's pulling out pieces that are, can be repurposed. But the main part that I do is I got sick of writing the YouTube descriptions and putting a link in there and whatnot and uploading it. So it pretty much does that. So it just, pushes it.
Hold on a second. You got a tool that does that?
Yeah.
Oh man, it wasn't long ago where you were advising and coaching, and the advice you gave me is, how important the description is and how important it is to put your school link. And I did all of that. And you're right. YouTube does have an AI feature that.
This isn't this is me using.
But this is you automating.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And it does my recommendations. So it's like this is another conversation, right? Because like on YouTube, you got to have the link at the top, because if it's if it's 2 lines down, you have to click the more button, and it's basically like the old school above the fold stuff. So it's like it uses all my recommendations to do it. But,
Sorry, I don't understand.
Were you going in the direction of like, oh no, you gotta like handwrite the descriptions, or like?
No, I'm using AI to skim through the asset and recommend descriptions. If I had to handwrite everything, I would have given up.
Let's pick up on this. So Jessica's in the room. Jessica is doing a PhD, John, in the US.
Awesome. And on what?
I just finished my first year I'm working on my PhD in global leadership and change at Pepperdine University.
Cool.
So what's your take
So
on this?
I do absolutely have a different probably perspective.
What are your questions relating to this idea of school, for instance? It's changed the way we learn, hasn't it, Jessica? Are you part of a school community?
Because I'm a part of the school. I have joined so that I could just kind of see what it is, and I definitely see some benefits to it. For me, I'm not at all interested in the monetization side. And so that's where the conversation loses me, because my entire background has been in, nonprofit work and working with public schools, being an advocate, being an educator, and working to empower people to have their voice. And that's not something that I'm necessarily interested in monetizing, even though I know that it probably could be. Currently it's my 9 to 5 job that I have, is I get to do that. So I'm lucky for that. And that's one of the reasons I'm kind of listening to these conversations, because I'm going to be retiring in 5 years. And what am I going to do then? Then maybe I want to stop acting like I'm allergic to business and think about it. But I'm not there yet. I'm listening.
Well, let's pick up on this. This is actually a really good segue. I'm so glad you said that. Two of my friends, people we both mutually know,
Yep.
love Substack. And this is an amazing idea. Substack and school are cousins. They're
Mhm.
coming from the same position. I want to just show how Substack does it. Substack is free to use, right? They charge you 10% of whatever you make, if you make anything. If you decide to monetize down the track, they make money when you make money. Now, that might sound like a stupid model, but they made $45 million doing that in 2025. $45 million,
Mhm.
which means that Substack contributors made $450 million because they take 10%. So what Substack does is they say, look, by all means, have a little community going. And then if you decide, and this is exactly what happened yesterday, you decide, look, I'm going to offer something extra for people that support me. I call them paid subscribers. There should be another funky word for that, but that's what they call them. So I had my first paid subscriber yesterday. She paid me $5, right? Now, there's only one of me and there's only one of her. But imagine, Jessica, if you're retired and you do this little project, and I want to talk about two examples in the numbers and the money. We can talk about these exact numbers. So one person subscribed to me. I've got 500 subscribers. One of them, 0.2%, decided that I'm worth $5 a month. Right now, I've got to give them something extra. So Substack works you through it, and you have a 3-tiered project. Your friend Anne-Marie
Mhm.
has 500 subscribers, but she has 16 paid members. 16, 3.3%. So what that means is that once a month, she does a Zoom call with them to talk. She's a professor. She talks about what she talks about, and 16 people are paying her for that. Right? Now, it's not a big number. You couldn't retire on it, but it's the future of education, I think.
Well, and I know we're going to be talking tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is that when Anne-Marie and I and some other people also are going to be on?
I think Anne-Marie's coming on next week, but
Is
tomorrow.
it next week? Okay. But now I completely forgot. Sorry, live.
Yeah, senior's mind. So I am retired. I'm retired, Jessica, so that's why I know so much about this.
Yeah.
But this is the number I want you to really resonate with. My friend Shannon, who lives in San Francisco, has 7,000 subscribers on Substack. Right?
Wow.
Free subscribers. 200 of them pay her $50 a year to do one Zoom call a month. That's $10,000. That's her annual holiday account.
Right.
10,000 real dollars, US dollars, which is about 20,000 Australian dollars. So $10,000 for doing a Zoom call once a month for 1 hour. And that is just a genius idea. And that pays for her annual vacation.
Yeah.
She's already got a job. She's full-time. She's got a full-time job. She's awesome. This is just once a week for 1 hour. Once a month.
That's what I was going to, one thing I was going to say is, so that individual, she's got a large base. What I find interesting about Anne-Marie is, like, I started in April. She started, I think she might have only started in June. And so it's really fun to watch how quickly she's also grown. And how did that happen? It was fun. It's fun to see.
Yeah. Well, because Substack is a very thriving community, 50 million users on Substack, 80 million visitors a month, people that don't have accounts but decide to go and have a look. It's thriving, and they make $45 million a year doing it. So everyone's happy. Like, everyone's happy. And I've got one subscriber. I make $5 a month. But that's okay, because I'm retired and I've really just started. But
I think what you're talking about here, have you heard Kevin Kelly's 1,000 True Fans?
is that Kevin Kelly, or is it? I have heard of the 1,000 True Fans idea. Yeah, tell me what you think of that. Tell me that story.
Yeah, like it's basically like, you don't need everyone to like you, right, or follow you, or etc. Right, and it's like all you need is 1,000. Like, the number will vary depending on, you know, what you're providing them, etc., etc. But it's like, if you have 1,000 true fans, and it's like that would be keen on whatever you're doing next, like, that's a living. And it's like, and then, you know, you can publish to Substack, you can, you know, on School, and it's like, these are just collection mechanisms for like the attention. Like, the underlying thing is like, you got to find your community and you've got to like contribute to them, and then it's like the money comes as a result.
It does, because we're very passionate. And that what happened yesterday was very much of a surprise to me, because I really haven't turned this on. And I've got to be honest, imposter syndrome came in and goes, oh geez, now I've got to do something, because I'm getting paid for this. $5 a month. I can't live on that, but I better give us something. So I've worked out, I'm very excited about this. In the month of September, I'm going to be comparing Restream. Oh, you're pretty noisy there, John. What do you got? What do you got? Let's pick up on that, mate. Do you have a mic, or do you just talk into your microphone on your laptop?
So right now I've just got some like the Apple headphones, and I just went to fetch something, and I didn't think it would be that noisy.
It's very noisy, like it's really bad. But what do you? Is that how you do your shows? You just do them that way?
Yeah.
Do you ever go on other people's shows?
No.
Do you want to?
Well, currently. No, it's not really on my.
That's all right. It's not on your
not
agenda.
completely on my list.
Yeah, but you did join Americo school. What was that about?
No, I'm a member of his school.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Americo, tell me what that means. You're a member of his school. What does that mean? What does his school do?
So his school helps its members optimize and find efficiency in the ecosystems that we host as school owners. So, for instance, if we're struggling on membership, he's got some free tools and some paid services that helps people invest in their school, and it tells them where to zero in on, what to focus on to improve conversion, to improve churn, and it's fabulous. I know you're not tech heavy, and I'm sure if we turn this into tech, you're going to stop us. So I'll try to keep it lighthearted. He's helped me, and I know I'm saying this is a testimonial. You can take the transcript and repurpose it, but he's helped me bring my conversion rate up 3 points so far.
Bingo. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, so sorry I missed that. I thought you were part of Americo school, but he's a part of yours. Pick up on that, John. What does your school do for those people who want to join it, and how can they join it?
So basically, like, my background's engineering, right? So you probably can't see the color of my hair on the top of my head because it's fairly bald. But you know, I've done that for many years, and I've built stuff for people. But basically, like, numbers are easy for me, and so, you know, if you have a look at traffic, churn, etc., all the numbers, you can pretty much spot where things are leaking, what's working, what's not, and then you can just like focus attention. but like basically I've made programs that connect the numbers inside school, and technically you could do it for any platform. And it just goes, okay, this is your traffic, this is where it's getting stuck, and thanks before America for saying, well, I'm actually so glad that it's helped you. So like the boost in conversion of 3% would most likely be around his about page, so that first page when people come in. And so like this is, if you convert it to like funnel language, this is top of funnel, so this is like the first thing that's sort of happening. Yeah, exactly, right? So but to get those leads, right, you've got to have the attention and sort of like convert them, right? So on school, we talk about the about page, which is the first page. Like if you ever want to go to a group, this is the only page that lets you into a group. And so you hit the about page, you've got some text, you've got an image, and there's a join button, and that's it. You don't like, it's quite simple. But the things that change that are the language that you're using, the images that you use, the pricing, even whether or not you offer free tier. That's another thing. So it's like, this is like after the attract. So you might be big on Substack, and Substack will get your attention because you're writing articles, you're repurposing content, you're publishing stuff. So you've got your attention, but then you got to convert your attention into, you know, depends on which language I want to pick, but you know, leads. And so like that's, they click and they join your group, they become a member. So now they're inside your ecosystem and you get to talk to them and, you know, go from there. But like, just one thing I want to note for Jessica from before, like it's not all about money. Money sort of comes, like, you know, community is like the cornerstone, and it's like community first and then, you know, the rest of it. But I'm numbers. Numbers are easy, so this is what I focus on.
The community first, because that's like my heart is in organizing. I've done organizing all over education communities and bringing people together, and so that is where my heart's at. And that I agree, and that takes, it takes time, it takes commitment. And I know Keith and I have talked about, like, you know, when we talk about what does consistency look like, that will keep engagement. And that's a whole other conversation we can have. But yeah, building the community and taking care of the community is very important. I couldn't agree more.
Well, I'll let you wrap up. I know you got to do some stuff there. What's your take on this, and how can we contact you? We're going to talk again tomorrow about Substack Studio, but what's your take on Substack versus School? Have you looked at them both? Have you got a synopsis of how they differ for those that may?
I've
may
actually,
not know?
because I do a lot of work in education. I mean, 20 years ago, I was a 8th grade teacher. And so I've just worked within the education community forever. So I can clearly see how it uses some good, like there's theory behind it. There's some theory behind it to help with the learning process, with the gamification pieces of it. There's really great uses for it, for sure. For me currently, it's not the platform that works for me, because that's not my intent right now. My intent, like Keith knows, my intent is to get used to writing and speaking publicly. That's it. And but I can see where School could fit in later.
Yeah, they're definitely cousins. So look,
Yep.
I'll let you go.
Yep.
Big round of
All right.
applause. And why?
One last time, congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm rocking it. I'm, you know, the universe has spoken. But the reason why Jessica joined today is she was demonstrating her dynamic mic in a world where we are fighting for attention online. If you want to speak on stage, you need a good mic, right? So that's why I do this show. If you don't want to speak on stage, you have no need for this technology. But if you want to speak on stage, especially other people's stages, they're going to be pretty fussy. Right, so Jessica demonstrated that today. But let's go back to the idea of school, and because we both know how it works, and I'd be interested to know how to explain that to people. America, how do you describe the difference between Substack and school?
Well, the analogy that I use, and I'll continue to use, is the pride of ownership. When you're paying for something up front, you're going to take care of it, you're going to nurture it, and you're going to put more effort and energy into it. So while Substack has extreme value, and I use it in my repurposing, and I coach the framework where Substack is included and should complement content strategy. If I decide, things aren't working, no one's really signing up, it kind of deflates my, um, whether it's my ego, my interest, my energy. I'm not getting dopamine hits because no one's signing up and subscribing. I'm more reluctant to keep going. But now, even though it's the hobby plan, I know that for $10, if I do nothing, I keep losing those $10. So I continue to strive to pay. And my goal is to get myself to a place where my monthly reoccurring revenue, it takes me to a decision where I can now move from a hobby plan to a pro plan, because the school will now take less of a contribution for my success. So if you look at the platform itself, it's also an ecosystem that brings learning management together to a safe place where it's easy to use, easy to navigate for my members. The tiers are flexible, and I can pick and choose and tailor who has access to what assets. If you're a paid member, you might be given access not only to additional services, but additional resources. So in terms of flexibility, I think it's more malleable, and we can play with it a lot more, where Substack might be a little more rigid. Yes, it's free. Yes, you can break out your tiers, but your tiers are limited.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I get it. I love that there's two. One thing that you might be pleased to know, John, is there's several people listening to the call that want to know who you are. Can you share your LinkedIn page, or how do people contact you? You've spoken well, and people are noticing. How can we find you?
So basically, mrrmax.com is where everything sort of like pivots from. And then if you follow that, I'm mainly on school. So I have a LinkedIn page, but
well, what if you're not on school? Actually, let's pick up on this. If I'm not on school, I can't contact you, can I?
Well, you can, but you're probably not going to get too much of a reply.
Where can I contact? How can I contact you though? If you're on school and I'm not on school, how can I find you? Or
so some do you see sort of like the lock-in of some of the platforms? My email address is on my website as well.
But to be fair, you're probably going after people that are already using school. You don't want people. So correct. Is it MAR Max?
MRR.
MRR.
Yeah, so as in monthly recurring revenue. Max.
Well, that's a very. I've got a special sound for that. That's the most acronymous thing I've ever heard of. So
it was the website was a lot worse before that. But basically, like, I've really niched down into, it's like for people, it's number one, people need to be on school because my tools work on school. And then the only extension out of that is they either have Substack or they have YouTube. And basically, like, there's links, there's traffic, there's data that flows in. So I really help them optimize that.
This is actually very good. You and I are doing something very similar. I only talk to people who want to go on audio only shows and talk and sound better. I don't talk to people who want to do video because I don't do video. So for you,
that's awesome.
you only do school. I don't use school really. I have a school account, but I don't use it, and I don't necessarily want to use it. So what you do doesn't really. I don't need what you have. But if you have a school account and you want to maximize it, the MRR, monthly revenue maximizer, you know, you had to explain what the acronym. I've never seen that acronym before, so you had to explain it to me.
MRR, monthly recurring
Never
revenue.
heard of it before.
So I think you were mentioning one of your members has signed up for paying
that's
you
right,
monthly.
of course. But
So that is your MRR, monthly recurring revenue. And so like school is based
but why do
around
you have to have these bullshit words? Why do we have to have these bullshit words? Why don't you just say it?
Well, it's like, so like rules of marketing are you use words that only the inside group knows. And so like the people that know what MRR are like, they're my people. Because like if they're not, then it's like, well, they're not focusing on the things that I can help them with.
Yeah. So if you were very focused on monthly recurring revenue, you would know that acronym.
Yes. And so like when you're on school, that's in the dashboard, right? And in fact, so like on school, one of the interesting things is you can earn like a one-off from somebody. They could join a class and they can pay you for that. But the dashboard really doesn't show it unless it's recurring. And so this is part of the structure or the underlying nature.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. You will have a niche. I like niching. I agree with niching. I'm a specialist, not a generalist. So, you know, I talk about audio only mode. That's all I talk about.
Yeah. So and so the person that is video and comes to you bounces, and that's like, you know, initially you would think, oh no, that's another person, but it's like, well, no, that's not going to be ever a true fan.
Yeah.
Like the person won't be as engaged as like when you care about microphones, when you care about being on other people's shows, when you're in the Substack, and it's like niche, and it's like, you know, that's your like person.
Do you want to pick up on this, Americo?
There's no
This is
substitute.
actually very clever. Like this is actually very clever, even though we've just identified that the niche that John has is of no interest to me.
So kind, but yeah, but that's actually also true.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because if I were to recommend you to John and you were to join and it brought you no value,
Yeah.
then both of you would be misaligned. And but look at how live streaming still works in miraculous ways, because we've brought two individuals who are disconnected, but we're still able to deliver value and stay in our own lanes.
I love this. I love this format. Like, there's no way in the world I could have predicted this morning at 10 a.m. that I was going to be talking about MRR, and that I'd even learn what that meant. Have you heard this phrase before, or this acronym before, Mike? The MRR, monthly recurring revenue. I know you probably know what that means if I explain it, but have you heard the acronym?
I want to say yes, but I don't remember where.
I love it. Well, I've got a special sound for acronyms. I fucking hate acronyms. I hate acronyms. I really hate them. Like more than mowing the lawn and doing my tax and doing the census. I hate acronyms. The census is due today, and thousands and thousands, millions of Aussies are scratching their heads trying to get it.
Thanks for the reminder.
Trying to get it to work. But what are you thinking, Mike? We've jumped around the room here. We've talked about monthly recurring revenue. We've talked about school versus Substack. Do you have a take on that? Do you do both?
I am part of America's School, and I do Substack. I think there's a place for both. I don't think that Substack is great for community building, even though it has a chat feature. And the strength I see beyond what America is doing with the courses, which I think is pretty strong as a feature. I like the fact that you can jump on the stage and have sort of endless connections without having to do restream. But then you're stuck with that captive audience. But that's also sort of part of community building. You want to have a captured audience. You don't want to necessarily have. I mean, it really depends on use case, Keith. And your dopamine hit is the live. I think school is built around what I call permanence, particularly textual permanence, meaning that you can have these chained chat sessions and store information that way. There's no storing of information in a live. Now, you can have the recording and you can repurpose it like you guys were talking about. But there's no real storage, so that when unless I go read your Substack on last week's show, there's no way for me to jump on the show now. I mean, I'm jumping on the shows on a regular basis, but I have to go back and read it if I'm just sort of a casual listener or someone that wants to jump on stage. And I think that's so. There's sort of a use case for both. And then I also think there's sort of a third use case, which is the platforms like Ripley and I know you don't like Discord, but Discord, because they also do an easy chat feature. So yes, you can chat on stage, but to me the in school. But the strength in school is what I call the permanence and community building.
Yeah, I think I understand. Like that word, textual permanence. There's two words in the English language shoved together. Don't make any sense to me. But now that you've explained it, it makes sense. So I do lives because I love doing lives. Don't give a shit about the replays. Don't give a shit. Honestly, just saying it. But you do give a shit, and you want it to be stored somewhere. Textual permanence, and I'm guessing that Substack's not that good for that. But it is very interesting that we're having this discussion, because school, and I'd be interested to know if you've done the research here, John, school is only one platform of many that offers this idea. School, Circle, Heartbeat, Mighty Networks, Discord, they're all variations on a theme. And for those who haven't heard of these others, I'd be interested to compare them. My friend Jason, who lives in Alberta, he uses Circle. I'd be fascinated to know what you think of these sites. John, why did you pick school out of all of the possible options? Why did you pick school?
They're all very different. So I guess what happens, like if I was part of Circle, and when you're there, it's just like you've got your group and that's it, right? At least when I was using it, there's no interconnection. But like school is like an ecosystem. So you might have your group, but you can see every other group and all the members across all the other groups, right? So there are over 160,000.
I can't see who's online if I'm not in that group.
What I mean to say is, like, you can see the groups, so you can see what's on offer. So like on Circle, like it felt like everything was all closed off. So it's like I might have my group, I know a couple other groups, but I don't know any of the other Circle groups, right? That's, maybe that's not true, but like, yeah.
No, this is good. I want to pick up on this. When I was doing a show with Americo on School, I could only send messages or see who was online by people that shared a group with me. So I'm in Americo's group with 150 people, and I was in one other group.
Yeah.
So there's two.
Yeah. So it's different being a school owner. So when you're right. So like when you're a school owner, so like if you create, if you sign up to be an owner, there's a central group called Schoolers, and it contains 160,000 other like community owners,
Yeah.
right? So you get that massive like interconnection, and then on top of that, you've got discovery, so you can browse every other like the top 1,000 groups. Right, so like it starts opening up a little bit.
Do you want to pick up on this, America?
you
Tell us how. I mean, as a school owner on the hobby plan, $7 a month, what do you get, and what do you get when you upgrade to the $90 model?
So in terms of features, they're pretty much identical, with the exception that you get the webinar feature, and you get to pay school a smaller cut. Otherwise, unless I'm missing something, John, you might be closer to this. I don't think there's that much of a difference. Previously, you didn't have access to the analytics, and you didn't have access to some of the back end stuff, but they've opened that up to hobby plan owners. So the only thing that I'm missing is that webinar feature and the lower percentage on payback or kickback.
So the thing is basically like it's designed for as you become more serious, then the features matter, like the two different plans matter. So like basically it goes from, if you're on hobby plan, it goes from 10% per transaction to like 3 point something. So you can see how that scales, right? Because if you put $1,000 through one and the other, you can see the difference in money, right? There's that. But then there's also like, there's auto welcome DM when somebody joins your group. And there's a couple little small features. You think they're nothing, except like when it comes to like activation of people in your group, if they receive a message immediately when they join your group, like they're just more likely to be around. Basically, like I was on the hobby plan, and then I got a big influx of people because I got mentioned in the school news, and then like I immediately flicked on to the paid plan because it's like I could not message these people fast enough that they're joining the group, like, and so they're just like flooding in, and then you don't get to welcome them, orientate them, like point them in the direction.
That's very important with a community. That's handy to know, America. When your community grows, it might be worth doing the $99 plan.
How does it work on Substack, right? Because like the member that's in my community that she does School Plus Substack, right? I didn't realize it did video. So like I'm wondering, I only saw it as an article place, right? So you write text articles, you post them, and people just see them. And it's like, I didn't get it. But, is there like...
let me pick up on this. Substack started its life as an alternative for professional writers who were pissed off working for the man. So a journalist on 100K quit a very high profile job and now makes 100K writing articles that he was writing for this big news company. Now people pay him $10 a month to get his articles. So that's how it started, 2017. Now you can write articles, you can do videos, you can do live streams, you can do audios, you can do everything in one place. Everything: a podcast, a video, an article, all three. We have both kinds of music. We have 3 types of articles. So they're the 3 main types of content. You want to read it, you want to hear it, you want to see it. You can do all 3 on Substacks.
And let's not forget that it is creator friendly, and its workflow allows you to push to other platforms.
Yeah, so it's a creator platform. Doesn't sound like you're a creator. You're more focused on making money. Like creators don't typically focus on making money as their number one thing. We need to pay the rent, buy a house, maybe buy a new car, but money is not our number one priority. We want to create. We want to be of service to the community. Obviously, we want to get paid for that, but it's a secondary thing. Jump in on this, Mike. What's your take on this? I mean, you want to make money, but you also want to create. How do you find that balance?
I'm not going to talk about my music making money at the moment, but I do want to talk about Substack as a creator hub. And we've talked about this, I think, last week, is that I can, and by the way, I forgot, John, I basically consider myself what I call an AI music producer, not a musician. AI is my instrument, but so what I'm doing, one of my main publications on Substack is about the songs I create, and specifically about the bespoke songs I've created for birthdays, memorials, intros and outros for podcasts. I created a song for America's Community. What else? So the power to me is the ability not only to restream to Substack, but then to push to YouTube. And what I plan to do as soon as these lawsuits are over, one way or another, is I plan to actually push to YouTube, most likely, maybe Instagram, probably TikTok, and then actually push all that traffic to a website where users or fans can pay for my albums and or tracks.
It's almost two opposing forces, John. Like, I mean, creators don't care about money. We need money. Obviously, we've got to put food in our belly.
So so school's purpose is to help is it like a million people, like a billion people find community, right? That's their underlying purpose. So I'm sorry if I misrepresent it, because my aspect of that is helping people maximize their recurring revenue, right? And the thing about recurring revenue, especially as being an artist and a creative, because for myself, I just as you create stuff using AI, but in music or whatnot, these are just tools. They're different paintbrushes. So it's like I do that with code, right? I paint with code effectively.
Wow, that's a lovely way to put it.
The underlying thing I think we're getting at is that we want to do our art, and we can't be bothered with all the rest of the shenanigans, right? And it's and you just want something to take away that onerous job. And so school is nice because you do the thing that you want to do, and as long as it resonates with enough people, so then you get your critical mass, right? And it's easy to just have them pay to be in the group. You can do it free. That's up to you. You can do it $5. You can do it 100. You can do it 1,000. Whatever you want. But the main thing is move away from the one-off price, because that takes a sales motion to execute. And that's recently I did a cohort, and it's and oh my gosh, it was just painful, because it's you got to do the motion of selling the people into the cohort, and then you got to do the execution. And then I'm that's no good. But when you flick over to monthly recurring revenue, then it's just part of being in the group. If you can make something, you could do this on Substack too, and this is what you're starting to do. And it's you just write, and when when you're writing about the right things, people appreciate it. Or if you're making music, right, and they can appreciate that, if they want more of it, right? Who is it? This is the idea of Patreon, too. except
Yeah.
these are all different levels of interaction.
I love what. Look, let me pick up
And-
on this. Is really powerful. I love what you've said here, John. During the course of this show, in the last couple of years, I came across the LTD, this limited time deal. You know, this one-time deal, $55. You can use it forever. What a stupid idea for the creator! Like really stupid. It's what costs you one time $97 for the rest of your life. Never ever get any more money.
for what? What were they selling?
There's hundreds of these LTDs. Is that what they call them? Lifetime deals? We were talking at this time about Go
Okay.
Brunch, this site that does these really cool virtual events. One time, the person gets my money. Then he's got to go and get another person. Then he's got to get another person.
But Keith, you have to do that. In my opinion, that's how you build a fan base, or a community base. Those are your founders. So your founders get, and you want to pick your founders carefully, right? But your founders would get the lifetime deal. But then almost immediately, within a very short amount of time, then you go to what John's talking about, which is the monthly subscription.
Yep. Do you know much about this, John? Have you heard this phrase, the lifetime deal, or do you just steer away from it?
Yeah, so it's a tool, right? Like, and like, I agree with Americo. Like, it's basically like, you know, say you're starting at 0, and you go, well, I got to make something attractive, and I got to get money in, and so it's like, okay, well, I'll do this thing that's super valuable, right? But bare essentials, and it's like, and I'll sell it for one time, and so like, I don't know, my head's not as flexible at times. Like, say this is really prevalent in software. So people have this concept, they want to prove it, so they go, okay, we'll bundle up the base version, or like if you've used AppSumo, this is what they do.
This is what I'm talking about, AppSumo.
Yeah, right. So it's like, put it there, put it out. You get to benefit from their traffic source. People buy it, but then you'll notice that there's a ascension, right? There's a ramping, because it's like, oh, you get the base features for $99, but then it's like, it's catered for finding the power users, and it's like the people that are step up, like they'll want to pay you more, and that's the signal that you're looking for, and those things ascend into like monthly recurring revenue.
So it's like a funnel.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all like it, you know, like a lead magnet, right? It's just a more sophisticated lead magnet, or like it proves.
America, we were talking about the tripwire. Have you heard this phrase, tripwire, John? Have you heard that marketing term?
I've heard it, but I don't know enough. Please.
Yeah.
Please
so a tripwire is something that says, "Hey, look, you've subscribed to my channel, but for $5 one time, why don't you just download my ebook? It's only $5. It's only one time. There's no recurring revenue. You're in the loop." Right? A tripwire. It's real. It's a product. It's valuable, but we're not going to keep taking money from you. Right? And what that does is it takes people from, yeah, look, I'm having a look around, to, I get this. And now you're in the club. You're in the family. Right? And then those tripwire people go into a special group, and you go, hey, given that you've got the ebook, we've got a webinar about the ebook. That's only available to paid members, but it might be valuable to you. It's $9 a month. Do you want to pick up on this, Americo? Because Americo, this is what Americo does. Like, this is his model. So do you want to pick up on this tripwire and your monthly model with school and how that all works? Especially what you've learned from John. It does sound like it's working for you.
It's slowly starting to gain traction. The tripwire, I just tested a couple not too long ago. I put a couple of $5 offers just to get people to sponsor some of our school community events. Hey, for $5, we'll throw you up your QR code, your landing page, your about page, in our intros. And if you'd like, you can come up and talk a little bit about your school community. Otherwise, you're just a sponsor and you get the free plug. and that got some attention. There was another small ticket item that I introduced, but the optimal level that I want to bring members along is to bring them to a place where they can just show up, speak, and I'll handle the rest. That's the mantra for the rest of 2026. There's a lot of people who would love to do what I'm offering, talk about doing it someday, talk about manifesting, hey, building this live stream, this video podcast, this audio podcast, but they can't find the time because or they can't find the tech, or they're overwhelmed for some reason. Hey, join the community, get your reps in, build that muscle memory where you feel confident enough, and then shift on over to a premium tier, which will be dedicated for speakers. We'll have summits, we'll have speaking engagements, and you can sign up, and then you opt to either take the assets, which I'll send to you, the transcript and the recording, and you can repurpose it at your leisure. Or if you're further along in your business journey, hey, you showed up, you had the conversation. Now you need someone who can do that for you. So while you keep running your business, we'll have those as a la carte options. If you came in and you didn't sound that great, we'll provide some audio engineering, clean up the sound so that you sound crisp and you sound great. If you need other assets recreated, redistributed, ghostwriting, we'll offer that for speakers. Then the VIP tier will bring people along on a journey where, hey, you know what? I don't have time to wrap my head around, learn Restream, learn StreamYard. I just want to show up, have a guest. You can book studio time. I will moderate it. I will brand it for you and send you the assets. And then if you can't or don't want to repurpose it, I will offer that as a service as well. So we're testing some tripwires just to get people in the door. We're, I love experimenting and trying different things
this
just to
is
see
so
what
good.
works.
This is so good. As you can tell, my show is about, like, I'm just the host. The guests are doing all the work. But look at what we've covered. We've covered Discord and School and Circle and Substack. We've covered what MRR means. I'd never heard that phrase before. We've talked about tripwires. We've talked about how Substack does it, how School does it. I'm guessing you've got a pretty busy day ahead. John, do you want to just tell us how we can contact you? mrrmax.com. Are you on LinkedIn? Can I call? If I'm not on School, can I talk to you in any other way?
Basically, like mrrmax.com is the place to go. And so, or if you're on, there'll be a link to School there, but the school I run is called Leverage Lab. That's the main way.
Okay, that's okay. MRR Max. So if you're very interested in using School to make money, to maximize your monthly recurring revenue, then you need to go to mrrmax.com. And now for a word from our sponsor. So that's pretty cool. I'm not.
Thanks.
But
Thanks for having
I
me.
figured you'd be pretty busy. So look, if you're on LinkedIn, you can contact me. My name's Keith Keller. I don't use School that often. But your niche is people that do. So you're right on the money. You've worked out who your niche is. You've worked out what people want, and you're sort of servicing them. That's bloody brilliant. So you go and do your thing. You're welcome on the show anytime. We do them twice a week. And I'll talk to you later. So we'll keep it going. Stay with us if you want, John, and we'll keep the conversation going. Do you want to pick up on where this went, Americo, and what you want to talk about next? You've got a big event about this coming up, haven't you?
Well, the event it's a client's event, so you won't hear or see me. I'll be working the back end.
Oh, you're not hosting it. He's hosting.
No, he's hosting it. I'm managing it from the back end.
Oh, tell me about that format. Like you now offer that as a service.
Yeah, so I'm moderating this event for a company called. Should we pull it up? That doesn't matter. You can visit the event on my LinkedIn business page. My client is talking about agentic AI and when companies should uh, should be using it or consider using it. So
Can you just
I
explain what that means? What is agentic AI for those who don't know, including me?
hey, Mike, would you like to explain that? I'm just the live stream guy.
Okay, basically an agent in AI speak is a specialized program that uses AI to do tasks for you. Now you can multiply these and have agents of agents and then agents of agents of agents. That has been the power and the problem, because you have to be very, very careful about A, how you set these agents up, B, what you give them access to. For instance, I would never give AI today yet access to my banking and or my credit card, because I'd be concerned that they run amok and run up my credit card bill or empty my bank account by doing things I thought that I had programmed correctly but haven't. Now there's been much of in recent months about agents running amok and escaping what they call the sandbox, which is just a way to control your program. I personally don't feel that was the case. I feel that they were at least programmed to do that, and I don't think the sandboxes were that well constructed. But AI or agentic AI is this concept of, in essence, getting AI to do kind of tedious tasks that you want to automate. It could be Keith, taking your automating this process that you have of scraping the transcript, and then now this is where the tricky part gets, is then saying at least create a draft article. I don't think you'd want to say create the article and then put it out on Substack. And again, this is the whole thing, Keith, is that you're automating this function. So you could even say, okay, I've created the article. Now all I have to do is hand it off to my agent, and then it will post it automatically to Substack. Now you could say, well, it's not that much, but you're cranking out quite a few, and you could just sit there. Basically, you just have a process for all of this, and you're sitting in the middle saying, okay, you've scraped the transcript. Now, let's go through, your model du jour and say, let's create the article, and then, okay, now the article is created. I kind of proofread it. I kind of like it. And if you want to create some images, go and do that. But I would always say, Keith, the important thing for me, not just as a security person, but just as a general user, would be, I want to be in the middle. I want to be the stopgap that says yes or no to I like the article, or yes or no, this should go out, or maybe you schedule it, because again, when you start, and I don't know if you're doing this, Keith, and I don't even know if you can do it on Substack. I think you can schedule an article, right? You definitely can on LinkedIn, but
why would you schedule it?
Well, because, dude, if I write 5 in a row, I don't want to blast all 5 out at once. I want to space them out. So, I mean, that would be one reason. And unfortunately, Keith, I wrote like 5 articles in the last 2 days on LinkedIn, which, by the way, I have to figure out if I want. I'm probably going to start switching those over to Substack.
Is that too many?
Again, if you can keep up that pace, probably not. But I would say that I would think 2, maybe 3 is probably, what I would be willing, probably maybe even 2. But I had for some period of time, I was doing about 1 a week. And I think that's easily done. 2 gets a little harder. 3, then it becomes a job. and I'm not ready to do articles that are generally about newsy type things. Newsy type articles I think are important for me to comment on and to get my name out about.
Yeah, let's pick up on this. Let's I'm very open to people unfortunately, people on Substack, I cannot fold the comments, and there's a lot of them. I can't fold the comments from Substack into Restream. I don't even know if they're working on that. It's a major flaw in this system, but I will read them out if they come up. And Omics Intel is really interested in this topic too. But let's take this up a notch. I do these. This is my fundamental dilemma. I do these shows from 10 until 2 twice a week. I love doing them. I also love walking on the beach. I also love watching TV. I don't want to spend my whole life writing articles. I don't. I just do not. But there's so much we talked about today that I would love to pull apart and turn into articles. That's where an agent could do that for me. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How would you do it?
Well, again, Keith, you would grab the transcript, which is what you're doing today. You'd tell the agent, grab the transcript, or you download the transcript, take the transcript, pick it apart. Now you're going to have to set some parameters, or you're going to have to act as what I call the human in the loop. So it extracts and gives you a choice. Okay, choice A, B, C, and D, or what I, the AI agent, believe, or that you have told it would be interesting. And by the way, over time, Keith, all of these models can figure out what your workflow or how you do things. So you could say, as we go through this, keep tabs of how I'm responding, and then feed that back into your choice when you're scraping the transcript to come up with the articles. Then you look at the article and say, okay, I want to do that article. And then you'd probably do something very similar, but you could already preload it to say, okay, this is you've talked to me, or my preferences. Go write it with my preference or my voice. I actually have a GPT, Keith, that writes, because it's kept track of how I write. And you can do this. You can write an agent to do this, to say, write this article in Keith's voice.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it goes and does it.
And I'd imagine looking for agents is like looking for cars. Like, I mean, I've got a Mazda 3, but I could have a Honda Civic. So I use Copilot, but I could use Gemini. I could use Perplexity. These are all just models of this concept, aren't they? Which one do you use?
Well, I see, this is the problem. One of the reasons I don't use Perplexity anymore for things I want to make money on is because Perplexity changed their terms of service to say, if you want to make money on the output of the model, that'll cost you $200 a month. So I said, no, I'll pass. So right now I'm only paying for ChatGPT. But I use Grok, I use Gemini, I don't use Copilot, Keith, sorry. I use ChatGPT mostly for image gen, but I also use other models. And it's really about what am I trying to do, and what am I trying to create? And then if I could afford more, I'd probably pay for more. And there are what they call aggregators, Keith, meaning there are certain sites out there that you can use, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 10 models. And basically what you do is you pay like a lump sum per month, just a lump sum period, and say, I'm going to buy, 1,000 credits for $200 or whatever it is. And then I'm going to go and use all of these various models. And every time I use one, I burn X amount of credits. So there's a bunch of different ways to do this. But in essence, Keith, I think what makes sense for most people is they're going to say, okay, I'm comfortable using Copilot. Either I'm going to do it myself, or I'm going to have someone help me write these agents. And then you you let them you know, do some sort of test period, and when you like it. And I think, Keith, over time, and this is where the challenge is for someone like you that may or may not be the technical dweeb. You may need that help continuously, but you're going to want to, over time, you're going to want to tweak and change those. And unfortunately, Keith, the models also change. So, you know, that's something to remember too, that you're going to have to tweak the agent as the model changes.
Or not at all. Like, I have considered the option. Like, I've retired. I could not do it.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, I often say to my dad, who's 88, let's see how far you can go with before you buy a smartphone. Still doesn't have a smartphone. I've actually challenged my dad. I'm doing the opposite now. Okay, I'm not going to force you to buy a smartphone. Let's see how long you last. Let's see if you can do the whole shebang without a smartphone. And so far, he hasn't got one, and it didn't kill him. It pisses him off, but he's still getting his stuff done. And we live in a world where we don't have to do everything everyone tells us. I'm still deciding whether I want to do agentic AI. I probably won't. I don't want to.
Look, Keith, let's go back to your father for a second, because I want to compare him with myself. I use GPS all the time. I use it when I'm walking. I use it in my car. My car talks to my phone. I have Android Auto. So, and Android Auto keeps, you know, track of my contacts, keeps track of what I'm interested in. So I can say to my car, you know, hey, I'm interested in, you know, visiting Keith. And if it knows where Keith is, then I can go to Keith's house. I can't do that if I don't know where Keith lives. I can't do that with a flip phone.
No, of course you're not. Of course you're right. I mean, Dad still has what we call a Melways, a map of Melbourne. So the question now, this is really the big question, can we do without it? If we can't, how far do we have to dive in? The fact that it's always changing pisses me off. Like, I'm going to try the reverse. I'm going to just challenge myself to see how far I can go without it, because I don't want to go deep. I'm retired. I just want to get up and have fun. That's why I keep asking what it does, because I'm not sure it does anything useful to me. Like, we had a great chat with John about maximizing your revenue, maximizing recurring revenue, but that's not of interest to me. I'm retired. I worked for 40 years. I paid the house off. I don't need to have recurring income. And I'm certainly not interested in doing it on school. So what he does is of no interest to me. So that's why I keep coming back to practical AI. Sure, it's going to evolve in this. We can talk about it for 20 years. But what does it do that's actually helpful? I still haven't worked this out. I don't even know if it's helpful. Like, I don't use the GPS, I tell you for sure. I just go to the shops. I know the way to where I'm going. I feel very old, you know. I feel very old, but I drive to the shops. I get groceries. I come home.
But so, Keith, when you go on your vacations, like you did to Japan, how did you get around? Okay, so to your point, you may not need it, but then you're dependent on your tour guide. Yeah, I'm going on a Greek and Turkish cruise in September.
Wow.
I'm using AI. Listen to this. I'm using AI to set the itinerary, to research each port. I actually have a map created where we're going for the day. I have the whole itinerary printed. I am in the midst of, in fact, I have a conversation going with a tour company for Ephesus. And I'm looking at the tickets for and I've just blanked out on the famous place in Turkey, where the Haggai is.
Istanbul.
Yeah, Istanbul. So, and we have 2 days actually in Istanbul. So I have pretty much 2 days full of activities planned for us. And I'm buying, Keith, I'm buying an eSIM, which is electronic SIM that your phone can use basically to act on that foreign network for data anyway. And then if I want to make voice calls, I'll just use WhatsApp. So I'm actually, and that's a lot cheaper than trying to use my my phone plan for my current provider. So
Well,
I get what you're saying, though.
because
I get what you're saying. It's what your use case is at the end of the day. And if you don't have the use case, it's just like, Keith, why are you going to keep on upgrading your Windows or whatever you're using for your PC? Do you need to upgrade other than for Windows 10 it doesn't support the patches anymore, but functionality wise, do you need to upgrade your browser? Again, probably for security reasons, but not for functionality. So at the end of the day, to your point, it's what you're calling practical, right? Is what is the use case? If you don't have the use case, then you don't have to use it.
What do you think, Americo? How does that fit in with your event? If you've got a graphic for that event, I'd love to share it to you and for you. But what is the actual use case for agentic AI in the real world? Like there was a real world example there in going to Greece, but what about your client? What are they going to talk about?
So my client does outsourcing. Their organization started off as contact center outsourcing. They now also offer agentic agents as part of their outsourcing. So to Mike's point, those rudimentary tasks, those mundane tasks that contact center agents hate doing and probably costs companies employee churn and low productivity because it's low effort, low value type of tasks. Get an AI agent to do it and use your human resources more effectively.
I love what you're saying there because imagine, and I know this for sure. Imagine if you could use AI to do all that really bullshit grunt work. Okay, I got 100 emails. Can you just sift through them and work out which ones are actually decent? And how much is spam? And that's what obviously your spam folder is. So imagine if you could, Americo, get all your leads that you come in and go, look, do I have to ring every single person and talk to them? Most of them are just going to hang up on me. So how do you do that? Let's take that case, agentic AI for practical purposes. You want clients, but you don't want to have to do all the grunt work. Could you do that type of grunt work with AI?
Absolutely.
How could you do it? What would you do?
Well, you come up with a list of questions that the human would be asking, and then you have the AI do it. Keith, I want to back up to that. I mean, the outsourcing of client, customer support is a perfect place if done well, and if you have a human in the loop that once that person has exhausted, whatever you've used agentic AI for, that they get a human rather quickly. Because I don't know if I know I get frustrated with these call routing, these automatic call routing, issues where it says, well, please help me, what can I help you with? And you go, blah, 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 you actually talk into it. And that's probably, or at least early agentic AI. The problem with that is that inevitably you burn through, at least I do on the tech side, I burn through whatever they're going to come up with almost immediately. But on the sifting through your leads, you say, you just have you could have a poll, you could have a list of questions, and then you have AI sort through those questions again with what you are saying is important to you. So, or what you think is important to a client. So if Americo is trying to judge kind of where people are at, I would assume he'd come up with sort of a questionnaire, and then he right now he would have to go through it manually, but a agent could do that for him and just kick out the high probability ones, for lack of a better word. Like if he's saying, "Are you ready to pay for this service?" and they say yes, boom, they automatically go to the top. If they say, "I'm not sure," they get put in that next pile, and then if there's like no, they get rejected. And that's a very simple example.
What do you think, America? Have you worked out what you'd like Agentic AI to do? This we can have this discussion. There's several people listening. Omex Intel is listening, and there's several people listening. Unfortunately, as I said, I can't feed the comments from Substack into Restream, so I've got to read them out manually. But I would really love to know what you could use Agentic AI for, because this is the discussion we're going to be having with your client. He's going to be having with his clients. But it's quite fascinating if you bring it back to real use cases. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's where I'm at a crossroads. My value proposition is bringing back the human connection into content, bringing live conversations to supplement all this technology that is, for lack of a better term, AI driven, AI focused, AI centered. So here I am marching to the beat of my drum that says, hey, people are craving, they're starving for human connection. Now, to put myself in a position where, hey, how can I use agentic AI, a non-human process, to go source clients and sell them on the idea that I sell human conversations?
Isn't it such a great dichotomy? Like, we know that we love these live shows, but the amount of grunt work required to do them, even though they sound quite easy when we're doing them, is enormous. Like, it's impossible to comprehend, to explain how hard this is to do with one person. And eventually I'll stop because it is starting to wear me out. But and some of those tasks can easily be done with AI. But what you're saying is then there's that moral dilemma. Hang on, I'm talking about live streaming and talking to real people, but I'm actually doing most of my work on AI behind the scenes. I'm cheating, but I'm not telling you. It's sort of a sort of strong moral dilemma, isn't it?
It is a moral dilemma. So I'm almost inclined to think that for the model that I'm building, that either an affiliate program where real people get a kickback for promoting my real-time service, or you hire a VA, you outsource that at a reasonable cost. You'd have to go offshore for that, but you now have a human reaching out to human, and it keeps the entire ecosystem true to itself.
I'm managing to do this. The way I do it, and we've got quite a few people listening and quite a few people commenting. What I do is I do 2 live shows a week. I love doing them. I'm happy to do them. I'm not going to edit the videos. I just don't have time in my mindset, in my life, to do it. I don't want to. I'm not interested in doing it. But I do an article for each show, and I do the show. And then I go and live my life and walk on the beach and get a pizza and go shopping. And that's my contribution to society. That's what I can manage on my own. Now, we could go further and make it AI, but then suddenly it loses something. It loses the Keithness. I just made that word up. It loses the Keithness. It could be very efficient and could be everywhere for everyone, but then it's not me. And then this is what you're saying, Americo, isn't it? When it stops becoming me, it stops becoming what I'm here for.
Yes. And, there's a lot of people who are apprehensive. We touched on it earlier. There's people who believe in what I'm selling, believe in what others like myself are advocating, but can't bring themselves to doing it. We're providing a platform and a space where we can help people move along, build that confidence. And once you get the confidence, look at the tech and slowly scale and move and celebrate their progression. But at the same time, there are others saying, "Hey, stop listening to what these people are saying. You want to be in the AI space. You want those automated workflows. You want AI is where it's at. Stop listening to anyone who's saying that real life connection." So people kind of
It's really,
there's
it's really
this
quite
right.
amazing. It's really quite amazing.
There's this tug of war where two mindsets are kind of pulling at the same persona, the same person. It's like, and we can both drive value. One of us is selling, "Hey, don't lose sight of your roots, and your roots belong with human connection." And the others are saying, you know, anyone who's still doing this at a human level is far behind. You got to get with the times. You got to move to catch up to where everyone else is at. So I'm having fun juggling both conversations, but I'm going to dig my heels and say that where I'm at is where I'm happiest. And I'll try my best to keep it human at all times.
Yeah, look, I want to slightly shift. I want to pick up on this. What I've decided, because yesterday I got my first paid subscriber, and I didn't chase that. They just said, "Oh, look, you're doing a good job. Here's $5." I think, hang on, people are noticing. So what I've decided to keep it human is that what I'll offer my paid subscribers is one monthly call together as a group that's not live streamed and completely private. And I'm going to probably use Google Meet. And I'd be very interested to know if you want to discuss how they differ. With school can have an unlimited amount of people on the call, and it costs you $7 a month. That's probably worth doing. But people have to be a member of your community to take part. Google Meet can have up to 100 people on the call for $14 a month, and anyone can join. Right. And I think that's pretty amazing. You get the replay, you get the transcript, and they also have voice isolation. You want to pick up on what you think the differences could be there? Is there anything that school does that Google Meet doesn't do, and the reverse? Is there anything Google Meet does that school doesn't do?
So I still look at Google Meets and Zoom as meeting platforms and not as social live streaming platforms. Yes, you can live stream with Zoom. You can use an RTMP streaming key and push Zoom onto Restream. But I will always think, hey, this is a meeting, and I don't want it. It's too stuffy. Those products remind me of that stuffy white collar boardroom environment.
And school's different.
And school is their experience, like that meeting experience, kind of gives me that same vibe, and that's why I try to avoid it at all costs. I'd rather live stream as we're doing now and push these events and these formats into the school system and let people join. Like, for instance, earlier today, I only push it to YouTube. I have the option to then make that a private stream where no one other than members have access to it. It just offers more versatility.
Yeah, I love this. This is very important. School is $7. Google is $14. That's my main concern. School is robust and vast. Google Meet is one product. All you're getting is 100 people on a call for $14 a month with 30 gig of storage and voice isolation. But that's what you're paying for. Very specific product. Do you have an opinion on this one, Mike? Google Meet versus school. Have you been on events on either or both?
Yes. I would probably do neither. For what you're talking about, I'd probably do Ripley. because and there is a free version of Ripley. Same thing with GoBrunch. I wouldn't use GoBrunch because of the technical problems, but there's something about the immersiveness that you don't have. Now, the question is, what are you using it for again? Because if I want community and I can do, to be honest, right now, because it's free, to me, Discord is the platform for community building with voice and video. For forum, and Discord has that forum-based text as well. So you can have that data storage. By the way, you can put files in there, although I probably wouldn't. I'd probably put my files on a cloud drive somewhere and then point them to that for security reasons. But pure platform based, because one of the problems I've actually had is, I'm poor, so I have the free version, which is limited to 45 minutes or something. To your point, for a paid version, it is a kind of a one-trick pony, and School doesn't have that meeting vibe. I mean, yes, you can have as many as you want on stage. It's not quite the same thing. But if I had to choose between Google and School, I'd probably choose School.
Wow. Why would you choose School?
Again, because of that community. I feel that it's more community based. I mean, again, how can I have between meetings, Keith? And I actually have asked this when I was part of a job search group. I'm like, guys, what are we doing between meetings? We use Zoom back then. And I'm like, okay, that's great. We have, 35, 50, however many people, but what are we doing in between the meetings? There's no connection. How do I connect to other people? Now, you could say, well, get their LinkedIn or whatever and DM them, or get the phone numbers. Although I don't know if I'd share my phone number right away. So there's that challenge. And again, with now you can DM in School. It just doesn't feel quite the same to me as Discord, and it's not free.
Discord is horrible. Like, there's just no discussing it. This Discord is horrible.
Why?
Well, okay. Why do you love it? I'll throw it to you. It's horrible. I'm never using it again.
It's community based. It has text and video. Now, I will say limited video, meaning I've had, 20, 30, 40, 50 people on voice, but it doesn't do that many video well. So I would say for large video, but I don't really want to do large video anyway. You know me, I'm not a video person. So, and personally, I find video distracting. If I want to listen to what you're saying, I don't want to necessarily see your face. And if you have a cat in the background or whatever, whatever's going on, I don't necessarily want to be distracted by video. So there's that, like I said, the forum-based nature of the text channels. Now in the video channels, you can also have text. Not quite the same, but because I like having that threaded, being able to create a thread for each subject. And that's one of the reasons I like America's School, is because I can either be interested or not be interested in whatever the subject of that thread is. I don't have to go through, like on yours, unfortunately, Keith, if on your chats, I have to go through the whole chat, scroll through the whole chat this way. Now, I guess you could create a chat for each subject. It just doesn't feel quite as user-friendly in that mode. It could probably be done. It's just not really built for that yet.
Can you tell me why you love chat? I never even check them. I mean, I'm not into chat at all. Tell me why you love chat. Tell me what chat is. Why it means so much to you.
Well, because Keith, you're in Australia. You're on a different time zone. Right now we're matching, right, and that works. But and it's already late for me. So, and even with people on the West Coast, it's like that's 3 hours behind me. I'm like, it's actually my bedtime. So it's past my bedtime. So, obviously overseas, you really have that disconnect of live. I mean, yeah, we can sort it out, and once or twice a week we could get on a call and figure out a time that works for both of us. But one or the other of us is going to have to make concessions. Either your early morning or my late at night or whatever it is. As opposed to this, I can just, hey Keith, and I can write a pretty lengthy question, and then you can respond to it whenever you want.
Why don't you just do DMs?
Well, it's very similar, but the reason, again, DMs don't build community. DMs are between you and me. The back and forth on a thread is for everyone in the community.
I see the logic of it. I understand the functionality of it. Not my thing. I love DMs. I love to talk to you about what you're doing. You ask me a question, I answer you. That's what I do. That's
No,
what
that
I
works,
prefer.
Keith. That works. I guess. Again, are you trying to build community, or are you trying to build connection? They are different. It's the same as LinkedIn. I don't feel like LinkedIn has any community. Now I can DM you, so I can try to build connection, but I don't feel like LinkedIn is promoting community.
It's making so much money it doesn't have to do anything. But what do you think, America? Community and engagement. I love DMs. So I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I love DMs. And I have a concept in my daytime which I call the power hour. So wifey leaves work at 6:30 at the moment. She won't work forever, but at the moment, 6:30, she leaves work. Leaves for work. It's dark. I meditate for half an hour between 6:30 and 7. I'm in the zone between 7 and 8. It's my power hour. It's when most people in the world are awake and I'm answering my DMs and I'm right in the zone. I'm talking to you and you're answering me. I'm not talking to the masses. No one else can see it. It's extremely private, very personal, very effective. I don't understand why people don't get that. I just love it so much. I can do it all day, every day. I do it sometimes hours at a time. What's your take on this? Would you prefer to comment in the open and have everyone see it and everyone comment and that mess, or would you prefer DMs which are very, very distinct? I'm very fascinated to hear.
It depends on what my objective is. If my objective is to cast a net and share my thought leadership, my opinions, then I will converse with that person and their comment or their post publicly so that others can experience my thought process and how I would respond or how I'm looking at and consuming that piece of content. If it is something that is more intimate, where I want to nurture a relationship with that individual only, then jump into the DMs. But in the West, and I don't know if it's a Western thing, or when you jump into someone's DM uninvited or you catch them by surprise, one of two things happens. There's so many DMs that they get lost. And how many DMs do you see? Because I see them quite frequently. Hey, just stomp it in to bring this back up to the top of your list. Right? And let's call a spade. People associate DMs with sales pitches. And I feel compelled to, when I start a DM thread, to say this is not a pitch. I'm not here to sell anything. Of course, I'm not here to sell anything at this point. But to have to justify that I'm just nurturing this relationship and know that there are boundaries and have to set those boundaries, it's not my means of communication of choice. I will go publicly, and once invited, then hey, why don't we jump on a offline? Why don't we take this offline? Then I now know that I've been given the green light and the door has opened, and I can DM freely without having to tippy toe on what the recipient is thinking the DM may or may not be.
Look, it's good. I love that we're having this discussion. I love that. I just love that we have such a strong difference of opinion, and we can actually. I think you got the timing there wrong, Mike. It's 7 a.m. Melbourne time is 5 p.m. Eastern, which is why it works so well. It's 2 p.m. Pacific. It also works quite well for Hawaii, New Zealand, and Europe. I've done quite a lot of research on this, and so 7 a.m. till 8 a.m. Melbourne time, actually, most of the world is awake, and I get a lot of really great kudos there. And then you can always be asynchronous and just answer me when you wake up or go to bed. So I'm not a big fan of threads. I just find they confuse me. And I don't particularly want to tell people what I'm doing in the open. I just don't want to. I want to talk to people individually on purpose. So it's just a difference of opinion. But I'm very fascinated by this because what happened yesterday, as I said, I got my first paid subscriber. So now I've got to actually ask, well, what am I giving her that's different to the free subscribers? She might not need anything because she subscribed to me. I didn't ask her to. She might just think, well, you're doing a good job. You deserve some money. But it has occurred to me that if you're going to have this subscription model, and I keep coming back to it, what do you give your paid subscribers that's different? For me, it's going to be getting featured on the show, possibly having a group call that's not public, so that the people can get something very special. And that's, in loosely terms, is a mastermind, right? So people that have paid, the $8 a month or the $80 a year, they're all in the same club. They've all committed. They all have the same goal, or they all have the same ethos. A lot of freebies, freebie Fionas, they just come because it's free. Not really. I don't care. Nothing on TV. Might as well come. Might as well do nothing. They're not really into it. So I've been thinking about this a lot. I quite like the idea that with Google Meet, you get one product. It's $14 a month, and you can get 100 people in the call. You get the transcript, you get the video, you get auto voice isolation. That's the product. It's very clean. You know exactly what you're getting, and you pay the money for that one product. It's very what you call a one-trick pony, Mike. I get it. I totally get that. That's the way my mind works now. I need simplicity. Maybe that is just a symptom of getting older. Maybe it's common sense. Maybe it's just what Aussies like. We want to be happy and simple, and life have fun. Life's maybe a bit too complex now. I don't know, but I quite like it, and I will be comparing it to school, which is $7 a month, but comes with a whole raft of other associated products, good and bad. What do you think?
I'm just going to pause you there. It's $9 a month for the hobby plan.
Oh, sorry, $9.99. Yeah, $9.99. Yeah, okay, no. That's good. Mike, I'm fascinated by your love of community. I don't see you doing these shows and doing live streams. Is it not part of your story yet, or is it not part of your ethos? I don't see you doing your own show. You've got so much to say, so much to add, so much value to give. It's a shame that you're not doing your own show.
I tried to answer this last time. I haven't quite come up with how that fits in with, for instance, I could see just what you said. Once I get a fan base, Keith, and I need to offer, for lack of a better word, the next tier up that I would feel comfortable them paying for, and maybe even paying, I don't know, $10 a month. That would be probably a show very similar to this, where what I'd probably do is show a new release, and then have a Q&A. And maybe, maybe even next tier or something, have them come up. But certainly have like a Q&A session where that's kind of like meet the artist or whatever. I could see doing that. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. I just see that what you know and what you don't mind sharing is of incredible value, and that people would pay for that. Like this, the knowledge you have is worth sharing, and it seems a shame to me that you're not sharing it. But I guess you are, because you're doing your blog posts, and 25% of people like to read. Have you considered doing a podcast?
Well, yeah, but but again, and I think I covered this a little bit. I looked at Studio. It will not share screens, which I need if I'm going to share my Suno or whatever platform that I would share that audio on. I need to share the audio. So that would be a problem with Studio itself. That's not a problem with Restream, although we've talked about the sound quality with, when you do that, particularly if you preload the track, the asset as they call it in Restream, and you figured out a way around that, I believe. Which, by the way, you didn't ask, but I'm using my P4 tonight, and I'm using my Q2U on XLR. Mostly because I couldn't find my P2 or cables. I couldn't find, anyway, long story, but I was trying to jump on with a better mic and I couldn't find my setup, including my P2. So I am on my P4 tonight. That said, I'm just trying to figure out what that would look like. I had toyed, Keith, with the idea of almost like a DJ type of thing with picking like 10 of my songs. But I mean, 10, I actually don't know how many songs I have, but I would probably run out of songs at some point. Unless I keep on creating. You will be happy to hear that Suno is limiting me starting September 3rd to 20 downloads per month.
Yeah, I did see that. That.
I can easily create, Keith. I can do one song with 20 tracks because it's two tracks per try, and that gives me 10 tries. Well, I do different genres.
But you don't have to download them all.
No, but I mean that's a good point, and that would force me to actually, to basically pre-filter. Now the question there, well, I guess I could still have people listen. I have to think about that one, but I didn't like 20. 20 seemed me to be pretty small, given that I can easily do 20 tracks in a couple days.
They've got to do something because they find a huge amount of money in Europe.
Yeah, I've written about that. If you look on LinkedIn, I think that's a play for which I think what Suno's going to do is, my understanding of what they did with Warner is they're going to license each of these. That's a Right Collective. I'm assuming they have a catalog, so it'll become and this is my take, is that they would then get a one-time license fee, or a one-time payout, they call it in the music industry in the US. And then you would get paid whatever that is to have your song trained.
Look, I want to pick up on this, Mike. I'm happy for you to say it because I think you're right. What do you think of Substack Studio? It's not awesome. Like we just put it out there. It's not awesome, but it's free. And what do you see any use case for it? I think it's pretty good for the price.
To your point, Keith, if I want, number one, if I could do screen share, then I could do a recording and have a podcast, pre-recorded. It doesn't really allow you to edit, but I could potentially edit in other apps. The question, by the way, the other thing about AI, Keith, is that I'm really searching, and I can't find it for the cost in video production, but in essence, I want a one size fits as much as I can get. And I don't think studio is there yet. And I'm a bit mystified, to be frank with you, as to why they seem to be stumbling around on video. You know, they didn't make it extremely easy for you to be which makes no sense to me. You can't stream out of Substack, but you can stream in. But yet you can push all of your assets that are in Substack, or you've loaded into Substack, out. So I'm sensing a disconnect there. Then you can have, you know, as we talked about the other day, you can have Substack TV, but I don't know what the highest you can output in studio is. I'm not getting good feeling about what Substack is doing with video. And by video, I mean either streaming or podcasting. And to be honest, even the audio only, because I do quite a bit of audio, Keith, as you probably know, on my Substack as well. And I'm still not clear, but somehow some of my audios have become podcasts that have RSS feeds. Maybe I just have to read up on it more, but it's very unclear, and I think I'm pretty techie. I think it's pretty hard from a UI perspective to figure out exactly where Substack is going relative to all this, and particularly like you said, you you want to make it as simple. They started out as a writing platform. No one understand that. But to your point, now we're at what, 50 million or whatever users. I would think at some point you're going to have to make clear where you're going with this. And don't get me wrong, I love Substack, and once I decide I can start releasing these without a lot of legal nonsense, I would push to YouTube and YouTube Shorts. I would push to Instagram and TikTok. But I got to get past this legal nonsense first, and then we're off to the races.
What's your take on Substack Studio America? I know it's a pre-recorded format, but could it be somewhat useful to people that are very reluctant to go live? Could it be part of your funnel, part of your working system?
I'm going to say no, simply because if I want to record and want to include graphics of any kind, overlays of any kind, I'm limited. I can only record audio. Unless you're going to tell me otherwise,
It is pretty basic.
Yeah,
okay. It is pretty basic, and I spent the whole of August trying it. I got to be honest, I'm not a big fan of it either. And I want to give everyone a chance to have a look at it. So what we're doing in August, every Wednesday in August, Tuesdays in the US, I'm doing a 4-part show on what Substack Studio is, because remember, we are doing this all the time, and we are trying every button all the time. Some people haven't even heard of it. Some people have just started Substack. Some people are looking to us for inspiration. So tomorrow's show is about getting started. We're actually going to talk specifically about audio only mode, which is what I did mostly. Next week, I'm very excited about this. This is extremely, really, really quite cool. Anne-Marie, who's a professor on the East Coast, she has 500 subscribers on Substack, and 16 of them are paid subscribers now. That's 3.3%. That's higher than anyone else I know. That's well above what we would expect for that idea. 500 subscribers, 16 of them pay her money to go on a call once a month with her. And then some of them will also pay her to be on a one-on-one call with her. So it's an extremely useful model. But as for Substack Studio, I don't think it's that good. I tried it. I didn't like it. I had a couple of issues with it. Restream is by far better. Like, it's just no comparison, is it? No comparison at all.
No, not at all. It's you can also record on Restream and schedule it to go live as a replay at a later time. So you still get all the bells and whistles. You don't have to feel that anxiety that comes with being live. Record it and then push it out as a live replay.
Yeah. What I want to do for you, we'll wrap it up here now. What can we do about your big event? Tell me. It's very exciting. You're going to be running the show behind the scenes. Tell me about that process. How that's coming about. You're not actually pushing the buttons. You're talking. You're actually running the show for someone else. This is an evolution in your strategy, isn't it?
This is an evolution in the strategy, and this is a pilot. This is an idea, a concept that the CEO of this organization has been thinking about and kind of has had it tucked away in a corner. And I connected with him on LinkedIn and just threw the idea out there. It's like, hey, what are you doing to raise awareness on your products and services? And he connected. It's like, well, I've had this idea of hosting an event, but have never brought it to fruition. It's like, all right, why don't we jump on a call? We jumped on a call, and I told him, hey, let's test this out. We'll test it on my domain. I'll run the show for you once again on my platform. If you want to commit to 2 or 3 shows, that's ideal, because we're going to learn something from the first show, and we'll tweak it, and we'll probably need at least the bare minimum 3 shows to have a good idea as to what this can look like for you. Does this become part of your marketing channel? Does this become part of your resources that you load up on your website for clients to watch and listen? So he had initially agreed to 3 episodes, and then we'll revisit what that looks like afterwards. But he's excited. I don't. The only thing that I think there's a disconnect might be reach. I don't know to what extent they're reaching out to their client base, to their email list. I'm not an employee of theirs. I'm under contract, so I'm limited to what I have available. So I reach out to their marketing team, say, hey, can you give me some copy as to how you want this communication to look like? Otherwise, I'm kind of running on my perceived value, and I don't want to misrepresent you as an organization. Tell me how you want me to communicate. In fact, if it's copy and paste, great. I'll load it into my email list. I will communicate to my social networks accordingly, just so that our messaging sounds and reads the same. So I'm doing my part. I don't have access. I haven't seen anything on their end. So that is kind of a fingers crossed type of strategy. I trust that they're doing their part. And September 1st, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, the lights will come on, and the CEO will have a guest that he will interview. They're going to talk about agentic AI and when to use it as a organization. And hopefully they will collect some emails, some questions. I'm hoping we have some great participation. I'm reaching out to all the C-suite, or the CEOs, the chief marketing officers, all these executives that I have among my network. And I'm getting some good traction. I now have another 1,000 invitations to roll out. So I'll do my part to bring the right audience, just to give them a good line of sight as to how valuable events are and how they can leverage them going forward.
Oh, I love this. I love seeing you evolve. And these are discussions, and we're evolving together. Like yesterday, I got that really lovely message that I'm in the top 100. That's a great thrill for me. I mean, to know that I'm in the top 100 of people on Substack talking about technology. I mean, talk about reach. That's exciting.
Talk about dopamine.
Dopamine. So what I'll do is I'll play the second version of Practical AI, and I want you to contact Americo about this. He's got a really great event coming. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about Substack Studio. It's free and it's very good for the price. It's not awesome. It has some features that are worth trying, but there are other products which are not very much money that do the job a lot better. We know that because we're doing it. This show is done on Restream, which does cost me some money, but it's so much more powerful. So I'll play the song Practical AI. That's a good way to end. We've been going 3 hours. I'll send the transcript and the highlights to all of the guests, and we'll make something out of this. And hopefully you can come back tomorrow and be part of the big story.
This is Practical AI, simple and real, turning just an idea into something you feel. From stuck in your head to something you share, one small step and it's suddenly there. No code, no pressure, just dive right in. This is Practical AI, so let's begin. You don't need a lab coat, don't need a degree, just a curious mind and a cup of coffee. Open up a blank page, type a simple line, help me write a story, now your co-designing time. It's not sci-fi, it's not far away, it's in your hands every single day. This is Practical AI, simple and real, turning just an idea into something you feel. From stuck in your head to something you share, one small step and it's suddenly there. No code, no pressure, just dive right in. This is Practical AI, so let's begin. Need a better headline, need to clean your notes, summarize a meeting or draft that post. It won't be perfect, but it'll get you close, like a quiet collaborator who never says no. You steer the wheel, it helps you drive. It's not alive, but it amplifies. This is Practical AI, simple and real, turning just an idea into something you feel. From stuck in your head to something you share, one small step and it's suddenly there. No code, no pressure, just dive right in. This is Practical AI, so let's begin. Ask better questions, get better replies. That's the secret no one really hides. Edit, refine, don't copy, paste blind. You're still the author, it's just your co-pilot mind. Start with one thing, keep it real simple. Write, test, tweak, that's the whole principle. This is Practical AI, simple and real, turning just an idea into something you feel. From stuck in your head to something you share, one small step and it's suddenly there. No code, no pressure, just dive right in. This is Practical AI, so let's begin. So let's begin.
And there we are.